Let's hear if we get any of the JOs. Oh, very quietly in the background. No, not that much in there. There was some in the background. Very quiet crowd mics. Invade going to get punished potentially. Cat. Ooh, jumping away. Their audio is off. They don't have game sounds. Okay. That's going to be a little bit mind-bending. The abilities are not giving sounds. There we go. They fixed it now. Nice. I heard that auto attack. Jumping forwards. Yeah, starting with that E. How's the Conqueror? Galio with the Aftershock. Get that now. The important thing about getting the Aftershock is that it allows your passive to do more damage in early levels. Particularly in early levels. Because your passive slam as Galio scales off of magic resist. And then the Aftershock gives you some of that. Good E there. You see that really at the early levels, Galio can have very good damage against people who aren't constantly auto-attacking him. Might have to give up a minion here. Looks like they're playing 25-15. You know what, hang on 1 second, I can check. I can have a check. I'm going to turn this off for just 1 moment. We'll keep an eye out for the patch on the bottom left, and then we'll switch that back on. Because I need to have my branding on there, you know? Both Rookie and Knight had 1v9 games on Galio recently. It's such a pleasure to see the best players of Galio play the champion. You know, I think that Knight is like top 2 Galio in the world. Xiaohu, not getting the W. It's getting a massive triple passive trade back to Cat. Because he misses that W. Means that Cat has enough HP to walk back in. Is this Sylas not just going to run the game with those ults? Well, with the Alistar ult, yes. The Galio actually beats Sylas in lane pretty well at points. Especially once you get to 1+ item, really. But the Alistar ult is disgustingly strong, you're absolutely correct. Jumping forwards into 2v2. It's the supports which are taking the most damage, but light full HP, doing a good job of trading back. Triple arrow though, triple stack arrow, leaving things up nicely. Heal blown from both supports. Hey Angie, 24 months on the resub? That's almost a year. Wow. They got my lines of Shahu in mid-lane. I just can't stop myself. Shit, about to go overheated. No W for breathe. Wow, it's a full overheat coming through. Gets the E down there as well. Ton of damage from Sheer onto breathe. Who has the exhaust, but lane looks like it's going fine. Good Q evens up the trade a little bit. Jesus, though. Good E accuracy. That's the last 4 we've seen. I have 0 expectations for BLG, so I am looking forward to BLG IG, I hope you mean. Hang on a second. Tien walking forwards. Good bonk. That HP chunk should mean that K can't really do much about this top side scuttle. Bot side went over towards Tien. Tien will go take this one. There should be a double scuttle. Even though you had the pushing rumble, sadly can't get top scuttle. Ooh, I said that. How Chad would it have been to smite flash that? Hey, Nymaera, good morning. What comp do I prefer? Well, welcome in, Omni. I mean, I look at Varus Rumble as a duo, and I think that's super strong. I look at Skarner Rumble, I think that's super strong. I look at Sylas with an Alistar ult to steal, and I think that on terms of a comp, it's very hard to not think that FPX is stronger. Now, I don't think Weibo are without options. I think, you know, Galio Wukong is disgusting. Galio into double AP solo laners is very strong. Hang on, Sheer might go for a solo kill here. Might be able to force the exhaust. And remember, he doesn't have flash. Great E accuracy from Sheer. He's hit like all of them on screen we've seen for the last 2 minutes or so. They let Varus rumble through? Yeah, they did. Weibo banned Nautilus and Yone on red side. Both the Varus and the Rumble were left up. And I think it's okay giving just the Rumble. Or sometimes even just the Varus as well. I think this duo is like, I view it beyond the tier of Pantheon Talia. I think that these champions together synergize so well. Mixed damage, long range, disgusting damage. You know, picking tanks into it just feels futile at some point because they just have so much damage. And the Varus ult sets up for the Rumble so well. They both also have very good laning phases. You have winning lanes with incredible teamfight synergy. Sheer also doing well in the 1v1 right now. 10 CS up. Level 6 coming soon for our solo laners. Xiaohu and Care hitting it a little earlier. Sheer getting it now. Afraid of Breathe walking forwards with the needlework. Dragon is alive. Grub's not looked at just yet. And Grubs and Dragon, Grubs can take a little quicker. At least you can take one. Taking Dragon takes a lot of time. Potential mid-jungle CV2. Tien walking in, i.e. has the upheaval. Does get the wall stun. We'll drive back towards his side of the map. Good chunk there. Skarner, if he hits you with multiple auto-attacks and abilities and stuff, does a pretty good job of doing damage. He has his passive is the is it Tremors? Not Tremor Sense. Tremors? Whatever it is. It basically if you hit someone, I believe it's with 3 abilities. You start taking max HP damage over time. Amp time on Silas, disappointing. Oh, you were wondering if it was going to be the AD Silas? Yeah, AD Silas was... I think it's bugs. The thing is, I think the passive is applying more than once when that happens. Flash forwards and Crisp, and a headbutt back. Jadchi needs to get out of range of that stun, can't do so. Blows both summoners as Crisp. Good combo on the Alistair there. Forces a lot out of Jadchi. And that's now with just 50 seconds to the Dragon. He needs to recall now to have HP to fight around, not Dragons, around Grubs. Anything of note. Cull in towards Sivin, not in towards the Varus. When you're going without the Varus, you don't really feel like going towards it anyway. I.e. driving through his own jungle. Driving in the 90s. It's running in the 90s, I know, but it's a song about driving. Well, it's on a show about driving. Initial D. Initial D's nuts? I'm disappointed in myself. CS lead in that top lane matchup is getting quite worrying. The AD carry one, at least there's a crash wave to make it more like, you know, 10 CS rather than the 15. Walking forwards, they do have the Impale. And Chris uses Flash earlier. Should be a dead cow. Where's the Impale? Do they use it? They don't use the Impale. IE, surely that would have been an easy kill. Wanting to save it for something else? I'm so surprised at that. IE could have got that free kill onto Chris, and surely with that could have rolled into another fight. Strange not to use that ult there. I am maybe afraid you'd get headbutted away, but I think you can angle yourself with the wall behind you so it doesn't punt you out. Way now, Quat has flash, doesn't flash in time, and Weibo get the kill on the support. IE, my dude, you gotta pull the Impale in a situation like that. The extra CC being away from Weibo would have been so crucial for a moment like that. Sheer's walking up though, and perhaps the Rumble can be the difference they need. First grub secured, Smite still available. Teleport coming through from that Ral who just died before. Jump forwards onto Xiaohu now. Don't get much out of it. Impale now used to force the flash out of Xiaohu. 3 grubs to the side of FPX and a side of Fries. I like FPX draft, but it's FPX. So Weibo win game 1? I'm not gonna lie, folks. FPX have had so many random changes to them. They had Milky Way, then well, did that towards the end last year. Yeah, catch on the enemy jungle. Way has flash, has heal. I don't think he dies here. Yeah, he'll be fine. Hang on, Tien might get walls done here. He now has the blast gun himself to get towards. They punt him over the wall. He has flash. Is anyone else coming into this play? Good damage. Cares around on the flank now too. Cive getting onto the back climb. Jump forwards. Alistair ult stolen for the first time this game. This is where the Silas gets kind of insane. Crisp does not have it his own ults. Perhaps he can walk forwards and get himself another W. Not that much value out of the first Alistair ult. Now the needlework from Breathe forced the flash out of IE. FPX would have felt like in a situation or two in the last minute they'd come out on top, but they're not quite able to do so. Cat not able to quickly get onto Tien either. I wonder whether he should have invested the flash to try and get onto the Wukong. We have a pause, a tactical pause. I really like that string music in the background. It's almost like that string music in the background reminded me a little bit of some moments from Halo. Let me put this back up again. Do I have any pause trivia anymore? perhaps I can, do I have any pause trivia for you? Normally I do that. Hey, see me, good to see you. Good to see you, Karma, as well. Let me have a think about some trivia. Because when it's been paused before, I've added some trivia in. Where am I from, Nymaera? I am from the UK, but I live in Berlin. You're Italian, very cool. Ragazzi, ragazzi. I used to speak a tiny bit of Italian. I learned Spanish and then learned some Italian on the side. Morning, Derek. Good to see you too. Yeah, Harold is also of the pasta-speaking variety. Oh, I do have a... Yeah, I have a... Okay, back into games, we're fine now. But fun thing about Harold, who's in our Twitch chat right now. Harold, Takano, and Vasu, who are all good friends of mine, bought me a Lego set, a Star Wars Lego set last year. It's the Luke Skywalker's helmet from the original trilogy, Red 5 one. And I only just completed that Lego set 2 days ago. They bought it for me in June last year. It took me a while to get that one going. You know, about good 14 months or so. Better late than never. Need to build another one, weirdly, actually. Sam got me the Mos Esper Bounty Classic set. I used to love Star Wars Lego. In fact, I still do. It's very cool. Anyone else Lego enjoys in chat? Weird question to ask nowadays, I feel like. Maybe not. There is like the Lego Brickmasters thing. There's a potential dive on top side. Breathe will see it coming. Alice is roaming up. Chris, will he be here in time? You have an exhaust, you have a double, you have a needlework. Do you have the ability to get yourself out of this? Impale comes down. No. No, you do not. But Chris does keep Jway taking aggro, which does mean it's a 1-for-1. Kill goes over towards Chris, and it's a solo kill, which means that there's no benefit to breathe. That is suddenly much less impactful. Chris has ult. Can't dive and ulting Alistair, really. So that'll be the end of this play. 1-for-1. FPX not getting clean wins. Oda, the creator of One Piece, has a deposit unit full of Lego for when he retires. That is so cool. I appreciate that so much. Just like in the way that I have, like, probably 4 or 5 completely unbuilt boxes of Warhammer I need to get through at some point. Maybe I'll do that when I quote-unquote retire, i.e. turn off my stream and go to bed. Pushing towards the bot side, Needlework on top side. Needlework stolen by Care now, but he doesn't have the Gwen passive, which is where a lot of the damage comes through. And I think Care might just get solo killed here. W will make it a little bit of an extended affair. I don't think he's living, though, in the snip. Will break the chains of Silas in a way he didn't particularly see coming. Breathe, killing that is, it's a big problem for FPX. Gwen will be able to cut through anyone on your team very quickly, and the sad thing is that Care needs to be running this game as the Silas. Eventually, anyway. Being set behind means that when he puts on that Alistair ultimate, he loses a lot of damage now. He just gets quad echo in the wave. Good approach from Breathe. Cooldown counting, spots that Care has used almost everything on the wave, and there's nothing left for him. Food Wars. Shokugeki no Soma. That'd be what I'd choose. I'd rate someone's Jalfrezi. That'd be fun for me. Anyway, back in towards the game. Mind a wandering. Skarner, a Roman. Currently making a homemade korma. You know, funny enough, I made a korma which was Gordon Ramsay recipe, well, probably like a year or two ago. It had rose water in it, which was really nice, actually. Because korma's a bit more of a gentle flavor. Very different. Obviously, I wouldn't call it like traditional, but it's pretty cool to see like an experimentation like that. So that was good. Recalls. It's been a slowish game. 15 minutes, 4 kills. yeah, fairly slow, you know. 3 grows to FPX, but they just can't use them, really. No, it's quite hard to use grubs against, you know, the Gwen that's now doing okay with that first item. Obviously, just beat out Care. Sivir, who instantly wave clears, can pop ult around across the map. The Galio, which can drop down into a lane as well. A real Cornwall taste of ginger. True. Yeah, true. You know, one of my favorite things about Thai cooking is how the way they use gal instead of ginger, actually. Sounds very different flavor onto it. The Herald's going to go down. No contest. Weibo typically okay with trading objectives. Trade on to Jachi. Jesus! The BF sword on top of the Yuntal takes most of Jachi's HP, courtesy of a ricochet or two. Owie. Wait, really? Wow. You had your gallbladder removed, so now Chili puts you out of action for half a week. Wow! I don't know if I could survive that. I like Chili too much. Jesus. Hey, Zara, good to see you over in YouTube chat. Galangel can be nicely replicated with ginger and a bit of pepper and lemon. Yeah, it's slightly more citrusy than ginger. It's a slightly less sharp flavor as well, actually. It's got a cool ginger flavor. It's quite, because it's, you get a lot of spice from bird's eye chilies and stuff like that in Thai cooking. Also, you need to shave your head. Yeah, Harold, why do you need to shave your head? There's a Herald going towards topside. Breathe. Going for the 1v1 onto Care. Trying to get towards the Herald as an escape car. Well, we've seen that once or twice in the top lane at LPL, haven't we? Knock up onto Breathe. Will he be using it to fully retreat? I think so with the Galio. Well, a threat on the other side. Doesn't want to stick around under half HP. FPX will get themselves first turret. Now, actually, if they get one more objective, they'll get the feats of strength. Weibo, of course, a little ahead in gold from the kills they have. That's the other part of the feats of strength. Fun fact, you can get a Lego passport for free in any Lego store. You can get a stamp from every Lego store in the world. That's really cool. Fantastic. Fun fact, I have a fun fact for you all. There was once a pretty famous example of how versatile Lego can be. There was a, I think it was a chemistry lab somewhere that was trying to do a research paper on the behavior of some material, of something or other, at near zero, like absolute zero. But they couldn't get equipment which would hold its form at very low temperatures very well. I don't think it was absolute zero, but it's at very, very low temperatures. Absolute zero would be too much. But so like the metal instruments they had, they'd be expanding and contracting with the heat. So instead they used Lego which was very, very apparently good at that. It held its shape very well at low temperatures. So Lego has helped 1 or 2 scientific papers over time. Dragon started by FPX. Weibo, do they choose to contest? Teleporting from Gwen. This could be our first big fight of the game. Xiaohu on the flank can ult to the other side of it if needed. Care, which ultimate is he going to use? Double knockup from Chris. And Jachi, he has been cut off at the pass. Sent into the dirt. It's not a Thermopylae, even though there's an equalizer making the gates hot. And Weibo will walk away with 2. It'll be a 3rd soon after. They'll take the kills. And they'll take the dragon after. FPX, they stole the Galio ult, couldn't use it. Does Weibo run the fight? Did you like that? The hot gates Thermopylae? Nice. You have the paper saved. Can I post the link? Yeah, sure. Post the link somewhere. I think the links are okay to post in chat. Yeah, absolutely, go for it. Top lane, not top lane, mid lane, outer turret will fall. Weibo, they take control of the game now. First big fight of the game. Get a wonderful flank. Wonderful execution from Chris, who I think has been MVP on the Alistair so far. Some clean combos. The coldest Lego in the universe. That is so cool, Mr. Blameblade. That is so cool. I'm actually going to open that in another tab to see what happens. I mean, Jachi is completely cut off. They don't ward their flanks. They don't ward off their flanks well enough. And Varus is not good when you manage to provide him with multiple angles to respect. What do FPX play towards now? 4k down. Their Varus does not look particularly OP. If the first time Lego's been cooled to the lowest temperature possible in an experiment which reveals a new use for the popular toy. Special properties mean it can be useful in the development of quantum computing. Lancaster University is where it took place. What? They took it down to 1.6 milli degrees above absolute zero. Are you kidding me? I didn't... I thought, like, oh, surely it won't be absolute zero. That's insane. What? Lego, what can't it do? Wonderful substance, that is. That's fantastic. That's so cool. Weibo is a good top 5 in the LPL right now, but it still lacks a little to compete with the top teams. Yeah, I think that their team fighting lacks against the top teams. I think their macro can sometimes be pretty good. You know, they are, of our top teams, one of the most willing to trade objectives, trade on sides of the map. If you watch our top teams, a lot of them will rock up to an objective and try and beat you around the head with it, of course, because they believe in their team fighting and their skirmishing potential. Weibo are the most likely of our top, you know, 5-6 teams or so to cross map and instead try and trade an Atakan for towers or something like that. I want a Star Wars Lego quantum computer. You may fire when ready. Did you see that Darth Revan is coming to the Star Wars Lego video game? That character is that one does not qualify as a glup shitto. That one is actually Darth Revan is a well-known character from people outside the games because Nice Theory Republic is good. Crisp has ult. Does he choose to pop it? That's a Galley ult trying to go onto the Rumble. Only forces that flash. Maybe able to get quit at the Jway. Rel, who does go down pretty easily. Tower went down as well, just behind the plate. Teleport in from Care. Could potentially steal the Alistair ult, but it's too slow from FPX. At first I thought, well, it'll just be the flash, surely, from Rumble. No, it ends up being the kill as well. They take the top lane out of turret. They use the Galley ultimate, force the pace of the game upwards a little bit. And FPX, they've just not had any teeth, have they? Onto the Atakan now. FPX, perhaps they can find their bite here. Care would really like to steal an Alistair ultimate. Atakan, is it going to be an int? Breathe onto the side. No, I don't think so with a flank like that. Chachi does not have flash. He has given himself a red carpet from his teammate for his own demise. 2 quick kills back to the Atakan, and Weibo have shut down this Varus at every opportunity. The Varus didn't have a clean laning phase, and the 2 times it's died have been in important team fights. FPX have not been able to use the Varus at all. And the Atakan goes down. Okay, but decides if it's not Lego, what do you collect? I mean, I did collect Lego in the past. Warhammer was the big one I collected. Suppose I got some magic cards about the place. Not as many as like actual magic players. Starting to get back into it again. What else did I used to collect? Those are the big ones, really. 40k is your Lego? You are literally called Mr. Baneblade, so I did guess that, yeah. Alex gives me Eldar vibes. I don't know why. You think a little bit more on that issue, and you see if you can find out a fun fact about me. I won't be... Yeah, cool. Dwight gets caught out on this topside plate, of course. Crisp, a lot of damage to him, but he has the cleanse to get rid of some of that CC. Jachi, caught off again by Breathe. Breathe has been exceptional alongside Crisp. Crisp and Breathe have made this Varus' life a living hell. Just can't stand in the fights. Varus ult, yeah, not really what they needed there, was it? Sad times. Jachi, look, I think he's actually been pretty good in the LPL, but this game has not been a good example of it. Hard to rate or judge FPX given all of the changes to the team. We're expecting to play with, well, they had Shadow, he left, shit, IE came in, Milky Way came out and in, and out again. Cat, not in a great spot here, flashes out of the pit. Getting rid of that Silas flash is pretty big. The Galley ult used defensively wards them away from Dragon. Chris does have flash and ult, should be under that much threat. It's decent damage on him though. Not pulling that ultimate. Dragon going down. Shall it be a steal? They're going to try to flash in to try and deny the Dragon, and they can't do so. IE will drive back over the wall, losing the summoner. If Alex doesn't make his faction public, it is 100% Dark Eldar Tau. No, I played Eldar and Tyranids. I'd love to play that Tau. I really like Tau. Tau cool. I think people really hate on Tau too much. I like them a lot. This is my first watch. Who does a team win? In terms of which of these teams is winning? Well, FPX have had some surprise roster changes. I don't think really against their will. Sorry, which I think have been like, you know, they've not been planned for. So Weibo already have an inherent advantage from that. They've had the roster on paper for a little bit longer. Of course, Chris came into this split Was on the team before, rejoining the team after winning a split on top. East was leaving it after that point. Teleports was top side. Jway to count it out now. Does have flash, has smite too. Might just die though, and poor Jway. He's just been caught out time and time again. FPX just behind on the macro. Not able to stand and fight, really. Cat, jumping forwards, doesn't have the Alistar ult in range because the Alistar's on the other side of the fight. Walks into the enemy redemption, perhaps thinking it was his own team's. Steals the Galio ultimate. Cat will have to recall and teleport back into the play. Ooh, good arrow over the wall there from Jachi. Good damage onto Weibo. I suppose Jway's come back alive, so Weibo get the pick, but they don't get it into an objective quickly enough. Was that another Varus that missed? You know what? I've barely looked at the Varus because I've mainly just seen the Varus dying. I've been looking more at what's happening with the Silas. Yeah, Wait. Can anyone think of a Varus ult that's hit in this game? Oh, wait. Has he hit a single ult? It hit onto a clone. No! He's the only ult he's hit this game's onto a clone? Oh, Jachi. You guys are watching the game? No, I was talking about Lego, actually. I was talking about Lego. Warhammer, I guess. Teleporting out. Tian, I suppose, could have cancelled the recall with a Cyclone if he got vision, but didn't want to walk in. Varus is useless. Varus is very, very strong. This is just a bottom tier team, sadly in Group Ascend. This is our worst team in Group Ascend, with unexpected roster changes. Struggling to communicate as a team. Jumping forwards onto Rel. It's not a bad Cyclone as Jachi forced to flash again. The Rel doesn't get value. It's a Galio ult, which is not going to be used by Cat. Well, FPX don't care anymore. They don't have one left as Chris will punch Jachi into safety. A brief spot of good luck for this unfortunate Varus performance. But yes, I used to collect Eldar and Tyranids. Those are the two which I collected. I am an avid anti-Imperium player. I dislike how the setting became about a dozen man-children demigods who decide the fate of the entire universe. This is the play. Baron will go down in the picture, Jachi was caught again, has to flash immediately. The Impale, not really doing that much. And Cat, you know, doesn't get that much done either. Tries to get an assassination onto, I don't know, well, it was onto the clone. Why would you go then to the clone? Yeah. Rumble goes down on the bot side too. Sheer had a good start to the game, not been able to really teamfight after that, though. FPX have not been able to set up for teamfights. Been engaged onto by multiple angles by Weibo. Fox Space Marine's up the guard. Now I can appreciate that. Yes, there is so much more of an aspiring story about, like, the unquenchable fire that is mankind in a dark, dark universe, despite the horrors which they commit upon themselves. Then relying on, you know, kind of like gross, warped manifestations of their own darkest parts of their psyche and things like that. It's going to be a taunt potential onto the Scarlet. No, not just yet. Light! Oh my god, the Shiver ricochets the 3 items. It hurts. Not a bad double Impale, but where's the follow-up? All it's done is Impale a Cyclone and a Galio into the backline! Oh, Weibo! They use the one Impale, which seemed to impact a team fight, to their own advantage. Sheer will go down as well. Weibo, they have died only the once this game. It was a kill onto Breathe under turret something like 20 minutes ago at this point. FPX have not been able to take a single other kill this entire game. Weibo will walk forwards, uncontested basically, towards the Nexus. 17 kills to 1. Another kill onto the pile. Aggro will be taken by Chris, but not enough to bring FPX even to a second kill. The Phoenix looking a little bit more paltry than mythical this time. The BLG, our marquee matchup of the day. Perhaps there'll be another one to deliver here. You never know with teams like Weibo. Very inconsistent. Let's get on to the Rift. Be right back. I got to watch the G2 Fnatic series. It was a Fnatic experience of all time. Poby's teleports were not so good. Thank you, Angie. You gonna be back in time for game 3 of this series then? Yeah, it was Yeah, it was a bit of a G2 schooling of Fnatic, who I think were looking really good until that series, and then G2 were all over them in jungle support. I think Broken Blade had a magnificent series, and I think that's a worry about the current Fnatic roster, actually, is I think that they figured out what they're doing around mid and bot lane. I don't know if they've done that elsewhere. Care looking for the electrocute trade, can't get it. Starting that W level 1 gives you a lot of power. It's actually going to be the phase rush on Orianna, not going towards the Comet or something like that, which can really dominate lane with. Aha, 2 Kaisers. Using the Jaculov skin Chroma. That one. Wait, this wasn't the this wasn't the Hall of Legends Chroma. This was the LPL Chroma. Yeah. Some roads lead to Poby. The greatest of sometimes, the killable Demon King. Oh my god, that transforming thing from Nico needs to be shut off now. That is very, very loud and annoying. Losing some minions into under turret there. Oh, they lose 2 of them. Light and Chris lose so many minions under turret there. Yep. Observers are right to highlight that. That's just not good farming. You should be able to clean them both up very cleanly there. IE and Tien both heading towards bot side quickly. Standard clear. No camps missed. Clear speed is really important on junglers like AD junglers, because you're meant to be out onto the map fighting as soon as possible. Good electrocute there from Care, gets the Q pass through for that. Trading well, actually. He's a pot up on Xiaohu too. Must have been a charm off the screen or something like that. Or not a charm. He's actually... he's gone for the 2 points Q for the extra damage, actually, which means he doesn't have charm right now. He can't charm flash, but what that means is that you have better ability to damage through the wave. One of the worst things about Ahri versus mages is that mages can stand in the minions, and you can never charm them. And in fact, they'll just trade better than you through the wave. Orianna can Q through the wave. Victor can E through the wave. Xerath can do everything. Control mages tend to be good against Ahri in laning phase, because it's quite hard for her to force a mage off of the wave and then actually do good damage. If a root lands here, Breathe could be in a bit of trouble. It's not going to happen. He'll be safe. So what Care did there, and credit to him, he puts 2 points into the Q instead of 1 into the E, to give him stronger trading through the wave in a way that normally the Ahri doesn't have. You know, I still think it's comparable to an Orianna QW or something like that, but you see the logic. And Ket does the correct thing. He buys a Dark Seal on the first back. Oh. Snowball Central. If you're an Ahri player, always get the Dark Seal first back. Always get it. Unless you get... No, just always get it first back. It's too valuable. It's too good. Ahri is such a snowball champion, you want to index into that as best as possible, and she's the best user of Dark Seal and Magi's in the game, I think, in terms of the meta ones anyway. Evelyn's pretty good at it too. But yeah, particularly Ahri gets to collect stacks very early, uses them very well, and keeps them safe very well, so works very well for you. Xiaohu's teleported back, as his Care, took some good trades there. The thing about mid lane matchups like this is that after you teleport back and you're both full HP, it doesn't actually matter if you were winning the first bit of lane. If you then take a bad trade, then you are then losing the next phase of lane. So you cannot afford to take bad trades. It's one of the reasons why Ahri into control mages is quite difficult. You can't just look for that one good trade with one good charm or something like that. You then need to do that when you're full HP on the wave every time. Or it starts racking up like this. You know, now he's dead to another QW. Needs to back off. Cat, very good in the first phase of lane, but then eats a couple of bad QWs through the wave, and then suddenly the matchup falls apart a little bit. You can't exactly do much in terms of ganking. Xiaohu can literally kill here. QW with a Scorch, auto attack E, probably kills actually. The passive heal comes through for a little bit, so that should be less kill threats now. Needs to wait for the next Q thing. See how he's dipping in and out of that W range, but he's losing farm under turret. Xiaohu gets another QW on target. Kara has now lost the lane. Because Xiaohu can now walk up, QW under tower, walk back with the shield if he really needs to. I think he's got enough mana for just about that. He has a tier in inventory, so should be fine with that. Has level 6, can potentially force ult out a Care hit. Does he see the recall? No, he won't stop the recall. He wants to see it to recall right now. Can he force ult for ult? No. Care wouldn't have had mana for that, actually. Would have had to flash out of it, not ult. Hope you're enjoying this little deep dive on some mage matchups in mid lane. It is my specialty for Ahri. Shockwave's the wave. Yeah, it's nasty. Close the cannon last. And Cad does not have teleport to come back in. If Dwayne can hold the wave, that's pretty nice for him. Using the clone to scout out a little bit there. If Dway doesn't do this, Ari would be losing just an insane amount of CS. So it's going to be melee minion, not the cannon. Ari actually gets a decent amount from this now. Dway saving the lane, actually. That should have been lane over. Dway saving it. Get yourself a support like that. Dway actually saves that lane. You know, Ari should have been a cannon down, a full wave down. Instead, now just a couple of CS. Ends up being fine, actually. Now he has flash, has ult, and now if in the next phase of lane he's the one that takes a good trade, perhaps we flip things around again. Because now we're at the level 6 mark, and of course, Knockdown will be over the back shoulder at some point too. Dragon available, drugs? No, Krugs. Yeah, drugs are up in a minute. You know how it is. Ooh, Charm Lines, there we go. Gets the electrocute. Should have. Oh, was the Q just on cooldown? Not a great Q there from Care, actually. That was a bit of a Nymaera Q. Teehee. Get some damage onto him. Has the Merc Treads on the way. Has an old Magic Mantle, so once they're completed, the laning phase gets a little hard to play again. Can you get a Charm out of Fog of War? No, not quite. Xiao using the Dissonance just to make sure that the W move speed was matched. Couldn't just get the free W there. Little tips like that can make a lot of difference. See that ward in mid lane, obviously very important for someone like IE who's got level 6 now as well. Yep, Xiao needs to keep a weather eye open. IE's going to get spotted by that ward over the wall, so he's been spotted. Tien in topside river. He's going to walk into the enemy jungle. Was there a ping onto him? Control ward in there means he's off vision. Tien can't currently get ulted himself because he knows he's not spotted. Knocked in on full vision. FPX, we complained about them last game, or were worried about them not having good enough vision control, not having good enough macro. Tien's now going to walk up. They were thinking about maybe trying to dive onto this bot lane. Level 6 Xayah, quite hard to do much there. But what this means as well is that Xiao, who can look for shockwaves like this. The W misses from Tien. Charm will stop the audacious charge. Flash out from Care anyway. Doesn't have ult. Doesn't have flash, rather. Didn't want to ult that. Wanted to keep the ult, presumably, for fighting potential. Shockwave's down. There is a paranoia. Tien still has flash. Orianna's going to push into mid lane. Weibo can choose to give up maybe one or two of these. Knockdown ult coming through. I don't love this from FPX. Xayah ult comes through. The Xayah is going to get jumped on by the Kai'Sa. It's not bad onto the Rakan. It is just one, though. And yeah, I wonder whether there can be a fight with the Orianna still. Gone a little bit too deep, though, as Tien. Crescent Guard comes through. But where's the fighting potential? Jachi has no ult, has flash, has barrier. Is that enough? Lights. Used both the summoners before. Does he have a feather pullback? Yes, but it's not that valuable. Charm might light to a kill. Last charge of that Spirit Rush. Forcing Xiaohu out of the picture. Not bad play by FPX, given the tools which they had available to them. You could see how threatening that Orianna Shinzo could be in that moment. Why are they still on this patch? Because in China, patches take a lot longer to push through. Because it has to go through government stuff. Jachi, gonna die on a turret hit. Stopped his recall, did crisp. Kai'Sa goes down. Plate will be taken in topside as well. And yeah, FPX would have really liked to snowball off of that topside play. This is the point in the game where you use that first knockdown ult of the game, the first Ahri ult of the game, get some kills, get something like Ultimate Hunter stacks for the Ahri, some Dark Seal stacks. Blue buff now getting stolen. Weibo not in position to protect it. Tien clearing through his Krugs instead. No grubs were taken by Weibo just yet. In fact, the third one wasn't taken, it's worth noting. The second one was. 2 plates up here for Breathe. Technically, the first one was taken by Shinzao, but still some gold for him. Wave was lost into turret, and we've been talking about that laning matchup for the Orianna Ahri fair bit. Good ult there from Xayah. We'd done that a little late. Would have been 2 quick kills, and a lost team fight for Weibo, I think. Tien charms. The ult damage didn't land onto him as Care went a little too far for that. Didn't want to get caught by the edge of the Crescent Guard. You don't want to play around with that, really. Shinzao with some extra shields and move speed is a nasty-ass champion, you know. Care jumping forwards. His ult just timing out here. If he'd had one more... If he'd had time to cast that last charge, extra auto attack, might have killed, actually. I wonder whether Care had a kill angle. He just missed that. You know, like in chess where you miss lethal? But you're not miss lethal. Yeah, well, I guess technically miss lethal. Well, no, that's more of a card game thing. But when you miss a checkmate or miss a mate or something, it's kind of like that, where you actually have a kill angle and you don't quite see it in time. Dragon started by Weibo. No one took the third grub, by the way. The Kai'Sa was pretty close to stealing that, you know? I'm late. How was game one? Hey, guys, good to see you. FPX got 1 kill the entire game. And Jiachi, I believe, only hit 1 Varus ult onto a non-Wukong clone target the entire game. Missed almost all the others. I think he hit 1 ult onto Gwen under a top lane turret and a dive, I think. It was not good from Jiachi. That being said, wasn't great from Care on Silas either. Yeah. Jue got caught out a million times. I'm not going to pin it all on Jiachi. FPX, yeah, FPX arguably had the better comp in game one. They arguably did. They had Varus Rumble. They had a Skarner as well, so he had Skarner Rumble. The other team, you know, they had Gwen, Wukong. Who's their mid laner? It wasn't any. Galio. And then they had Sivir, Alistair. Crisp had a very clean Alistair game. He walked away with MVP from that one. But yeah, Jue was punished an awful lot in that first game. But reminder, folks, that FPX are a team with basically an emergency sub jungler again, where you know, their junglers this year were, you know, they started with Sorrow, then they went to Shadow, then they went to IE, then they went to Milky Way, and now they've gone back to IE because Milky Way has legal stuff to sort out in that sense. Ult falls into mid lane. But there's a Rakan to follow. The Fear is broken. And now you've used your Paranoia. Chris uses the heal for good measure. And Weibo now gets to safely farm out. Ariel's down, Paranoia's down. You don't have Malignance yet, so it's not... You don't have any Ultimate Hunter stacks from Care. Not looking fantastic, actually, for FPX. You know what I'm quickly going to do? I'm going to go see if Epic Pen will actually work. If Epic Pen actually works and doesn't freeze my PC, I'd like to be able to draw on the screen again. That was a fun time, it was. There we go. Let's give it a try. I think that should work. Think so? Cool. I think we're in business, folks. Try that one more time. Need to remember how to use this. There we go. Cool. Right. We can draw that now. So that means we can annotate some stuff on here. And teach you some bit about League of Legends along the way, hopefully, too. Let's get into it. So what's happening around the side of the map? Yorick wants to be pushing in down bot side. This is up in a minute. You want control over here. Threaten with a teleport if you need to, and you can cross map from Weibo if you need to as well. No, you don't have. You have the one grub from Weibo, which is important, of course. It allows you to use the Yorick a lot better. He has the Triforce already. He might have a fight in the mid lane, though, as we speak about it. Catch onto Jue, who's been caught a lot this series already. Has to blow that flash. Ignited as well to take that HP bar down just a little bit more. Weibo, they might even be able to take this full turret. I mean, FPX don't really have a great counterpunch. They have their ults from mid-jungle back up. And you can see how much it benefits Weibo to have this slow game right now. Because, you know, they're very happy to be playing around something like Breathe on the Yorick, getting some side lane pressure. I think FPX, they wanted a faster game around Ahri Nocturne, forcing plays. They have Malignance and Hexplate. Kai'Sa flying into the backline as well, onto that first target. Risk of MVP, hell yeah, he was very good. He was very good. Herald started by FPX. Weibo, do they want to contest? They could push in both sidelines. They are teleporting in. Orianna teleporting into one side, Sion onto the other. He potentially charged up by Sheer here. And Herald's peeled off of. That's a problem, folks, because that means that FPX have not taken the Herald. And Yorick gets to go in towards the bot side tower. Where's that Crescent Guard? Needs to be there a little early. The Shockwave is really bad, as is Tien's Flash Away. Actually, they're trying to play delay. What has just happened? Someone gets an ult into the backline. Shashi will jump on towards the Rakan and flash forward toward an extra kill. While all this is happening, Breathe just wanted to take a tower. Weibo, why did you not play defensively? You did the hard part of disengaging the Nocturne. And instead, there'll be a teleport towards bot side now. But Weibo, you should have just not fought. You got flash on so many people. They end up blowing 3 flashes. Losing 2 in Xiaohu and Crisp. Teleport up now. Hang on a second. As Tian went in for a steal. He's now in a 1v3. Does have a member behind him in Breathe. He just went back to one side. What has happened with Weibo here? What a strange series of events. What a strange series of events. Breathe was so happy for a short while there. Then Weibo stuck around, and I don't think they realized whether they wanted to be split pushing or not. Typically, Weibo are much better at trading objectives like that. FPX pick up some good kills. Can you get 2 side lane out of turrets in back-to-back, though? First turret, of course, went over towards Weibo. In that to play that. Denying a cannon here, if you can. Why did he not wait an extra auto to get that cannon? Questions. So what happened here? Weibo wanted... I mean, the shockwave is bad. What is happening with that shockwave? And then Sion nails the Orianna, who flashes and still gets hit by it. Xiaohu has a nightmare of a fight. He's died under side lane turret as well now. Even with that Seraph's on. Xiaohu's doing well in the laning phase and then just loses his head a couple of times. FPX, good pounce into that bot lane. Of course, had no flash. Even through the Seraph's, not good enough there. Then starting up Dragon. Gold lead still to Weibo. Yorick's in a good spot at least. I'm going to get and contest over this? No. We do have ultimates from Jachi and Sheer on FPX. Not really much to be used elsewhere though. I wonder if Xiaohu has those 2 deaths if he picked Ryze instead. I mean, he shouldn't have had them on Orianna either, really. Herald into mid lane, of course, earned by them around that last play. Tian wanted to get it the last time. He even died for this steal attempt. FPX grouping up in the mid lane, perhaps looking for another deep play again. Ahri hanging off the vision as his Nocturne. Ahri comes out of the picture, out of the fog of war now. 5 Dark Seal Stacks on the Ahri, by the way. That is definitely a win condition. Shit. Has flash, has ult. He's going to use either of them. Might need to. Ults first. Should be safe. Charm landing onto Breathe. Not bad damage from Care. It's hit by the Morning Mist, though. And there's a speed up. Flash away. Care not wanting to use the ult. Been flashing early all the time. Q not landing over the wall. Weibo, take the summoner. This is an RE thing. Sometimes you can ult to safety, but you prefer to flash if you want to fight in the next minute or so. Another charm onto Breathe. Punts him into the Nocturne. Dark Procession goes down. Will he have to flash over the wall? Yes. Okay, Care going over the wall to give vision. That's not a bad. Here comes Jachi. Where's the shockwave? Comes in, catches one back, and it's 2 kills to Weibo. Tian gets the healing, might even get a third, forces the barrier out of Jachi. 2 for 2? 2 for 2. All things said and done. Care walking away with a double kill. On the other side, Weibo picking up IE and Jue in the combo. Care getting very strong now. I think on the next back, he should be looking at a Medjay's. Got the charm to position him to get punted over the wall for the blast cone. That is niche. Charms him towards him, punts him over the wall. Free to get some frequent flyer miles. Hops over the wall to get some vision to allow the Nocturne to ult in. Jue flashes over for an instant 3-man, allows Jachi in. Jachi ends up getting CC'd immediately. That's not exactly what he wanted. I think he got hit by the end of the Rakan charm. Also ended up dying. Jachi still makes it out of there alive. Wonder if it should have been better, though. Better fight for them. Shockwave came in pretty clutch to buy time. Shockwave is sometimes just more useful as CC than damage, you know? Atakan is now available. Now, as we say, this is where games go to die. Where he doesn't have himself the second item just yet. Once he does, and he gets that Shojin in, Yorick really is a champion. Very hard to deal with a Triforce Shojin. Yorick has so much random damage on this kit where the Shojin buffs it up. It is a pain. The way this is going, Kerr is going to need to hard carry this. Well, he has the two items. He's got his damage core now. He has the boots and the double burn combo of Malignance and Liandry's. That'll do well against the Yorick and the Shinzao, who are both HP stackers. Even works pretty well against stuff like the Orianna too, because you don't tend to burst out Orianna that well when she has stuff like a Saras, Merc Treads, what have you. Of course, her own shield as well. Going towards a slower burn build has often worked out well for Ori into tankier champions. We saw Scout try the Blackfire Torch Bloodletters build a day or two ago. Actually worked out pretty well for him. Not sure I love the build, but the play was good. Means you can't play around your ult as much. FPX now going towards the Atakan. Teleports in. Zai will have to walk up the river. I think we were a bit slow to this. I think they're very slow to this. In fact, Tien has that flash. They go for a steal. Nocturne not pulled in, and they'll just back off. They'll just back off. Free Atakan to FPX. Weibo, I mean, just not there in time. FPX get it for free. They can push up towards this top side. They have two grubs. Weibo will move in towards mid lane and bot lane, teleporting in. Two items now onto that Yorick. That's his danger point. Mid lane in a turret taken by Weibo. They'll lose the top lane outer turret. They're currently 4 turrets to none. That'll only be even up for 1 there. Hang on, FPX, you guys do need to defend your base, you know? Half the damage onto the inhibitor turret. It will regen a bit. The bot lane inner turret is getting hit by the Yorick, and that'll die in a single wave. So it ends up being maybe a 2-for-2 turret trade. 2 inner turrets for both inner and outer on top lane. Dragon is alive. I think Weibo are happy with this. Reminder, as we said before, of our top teams, Weibo are the most likely to trade. And I don't think they've come that bad away from this. I mean, the XP from Atakan over towards FPX is not something which is lightly given over. But they've taken a whole swathe of the map. Swathes? Is a whole swathe? They've taken swathes of the map over. Shahu going towards the Bloodletters. I don't love Saras into Bloodletters. Bloodletters takes a while to stack up the damage if you don't have Magic Resist Shred. If you don't have DOT, rather. Yorick, big beneficiary of Weibo's non-confrontational style in this game so far. He's working his way up towards what I presume to be a Jack Show third. Sheer is behind 2,000 gold. Doesn't mean that the Sion won't be useful. Sion's still a teamfight tank. Weibo don't have the best anti-tank if Yorick isn't there right now. You know, Light's going towards Infinity Edge third. He's not going towards a tank-killing build, something like Lord Dominic's early. My knee just clicked very loudly. One in this case takes the cannon. Breathe doesn't have teleport. You can't stay in bot lane too long because of this. Using a Monster Blast going to get up there. He's roaming early. And you can see him walking up the minimap. Baron starts it. He is quite low here, actually. There's potential of the Rakan Orianna combo there. They go. The Shockwave's not going to save him. And Ayi goes down. They tag too hard. And they have no smites. They have no smites. They have leashed the Baron. And they have lost their ability to secure it. Not bad from Choi, and Sion gets it! It doesn't matter that there was no smite! Sheer takes the Baron, even though his jungler had died. How have Weibo done that? Only Weibo Gaming can throw an objective like this. They've lost 4. They'll probably lose a 5th as Jet Shield go down. Flash and ult not going to save him. Ult's first does not get a kill. How did that happen? Weibo kill the smite. He's gone. Sheer doesn't have a spellbook. Dwayne doesn't even press his either. Does Tian just miss-smite it? My dude, you were contesting against nothing. How does that happen? Baron buff is only going to be on to Care now. It's a one-man Baron, but how does that happen? IU tanks this for too long. Good Rakan Orianna combo. Dunks down on him. He dies. What happens with Tien's smite? What happens with it? Goes down to low HP. There is a spellbook smite. Ult comes through. And the smite comes through at what HP? Way too early. And the W happened that comes through. Tien has died. Crisp is now in the wrong side of things too. There's no Eon to him. Cat can chase him down. Weibo, what is happening here? The charm misses, so I guess... That's the flash. have our main event of the day, Invictus Gaming versus BLG. But this series is somewhat important too. FPX only won a single series in Group Ascend so far. They've had, what does their year look like in terms of junglers? They started with a jungler called Sorrow. They changed him out for Shadow, BLG's current jungler. He ended up moving in this split. So they had Sorrow, then they had Shadow. Then they moved over to Milky Way, who came back in. Sorry, over to IE, who I'd never even heard of before he joined the team. Then they had Milky Way. Milky Way's now been subbed back out due to some controversy about potential fair play and competitive integrity violations. He is contesting these claims. We won't make any comment on them because of that. Wait for the review panels to come through, really. So FPX, how many jungles they've had? You know, 3, 4? If you count dunking in and out, they've changed jungler about 5 times this year. It's the same amount as BLG, actually. They've had much, much less success with it. FPX, of course, ran into a lot of issues last year with Shallow, who their top laner, having some friction with the staff. Seems like the staff really didn't help out in that issue there. Chway, can you get a monster engage? How do you defend against this Elder, though? Breathe, shredding turrets. Weibo, team who don't let them fall out. It was really, really on point. Baron's now spawned with the last of the Elder wearing off. FPX could contest in a fight, but they're not going to be there soon enough, I don't think. You could ult into the pit. Can't do so. First Baron of the game for Weibo. The 2 previous ones before this went to FPX. How can FPX win this one? You really hope that Weibo flips something. That's what you're hoping. You're hoping that they flip something, that you get Paranoia, which allows Care to get a crucial target onto the Xayah, onto the Orianna, which forces them to lose to play a very defensive fight where the Orianna can't shockwave as CC aggressively. The Xayah has to back off. That's how you win a game here. It's difficult. That's how you manage it. Breathe, shuffling in that wave. 5,000 gold the advantage for the Yorick. Weibo fell into some issues earlier this game because Breathe was quite intent on taking side lane turrets, and I think it was the right decision to do so. Weibo didn't back off on the other side of the map. Have to balance the equation. Can't fight everywhere at once unless you are very, very lucky or very, very far ahead, and at that point, they weren't. 4,000 gold. Hang on, Charmer to Tien. Get some damage onto him. Paranoia coming through. That's good damage, actually, coming through. Dre taking some damage on himself, though, and IE has to flash immediately out. Chris, charming back in. Light, can you get the damage down? Q lands onto the Ahri, from the Ahri onto Lights. But he has enough lifesteal now. I think just with basic auto attacks to heal back up. That's a big shotgun blast miss from FPX. They will not have another Paranoia for this base defense. The turrets are going lower and lower. Jump in, Care, trying to get some damage down. Gets damage miss only on to Chris. Dre dies on the other side. And I think that might be the last shot fired for FPX. The chamber is empty. A shockwave will land onto IE. Jachi trying to fire for all his might. But he'll need a 3rd and a 4th skin to match the second one to have enough damage to see it through. The second skin, not enough. Weibo will end the series 2-0. Fun plus Phoenix. More paltry than mythical in this series. Weibo cleaned it up 2-0. The Gyos ring out. Crowd mics have been a little lower, but they've been still present and available. Level 1, any shenanigans? Perhaps, actually. Shadow and On around the corner. If On spots out Rookie, Shadow could flash W. I think it would be flash for flash. Quite dangerous to blow that Pantheon W early. Maybe wondering whether IG would walk over to... you see right there. You see right there. That was actually quite an important thing. Most of the time, look down on the minimap. Typically, you'll have the mid laner walk in and ward around here. You want to ward onto this bit of Raptors. So what BLG do is hide around that corner and stop that ward being put down. There's a ward now down here to stop and invade, but nothing more than that. Gala popping the Ghost to get extra auto attacks on target. Has the lethal tempo running, and Gala and Mako just smash through the level 1. Maybe a mistake locking in that Zyra. After all, if the Zyra can't see you through that level 1, Elk is going to have to recall at level 1, lose all of this XP and farm. On is going to stick around to at least get some melee minions worth of XP. But Gala popping the Ghost to get extra auto attacks on target, keep the lethal tempo running, makes all the difference. Elk not running the Ghost himself to match and walk away. What are BLG going to do now? They are not a team which does very well when their bot lane loses. When BLG lose bot lane, they tend to fall apart. This is now a really dangerous scenario for BLG. Shadow clearing from bot to top. He's not in a position where he can just perma-gank bot or something like that. And on the other side, Wei is going top to bot, so he can actually interact with his bot lane at the end of his clear. BLG struggle streets already off of just one level 1 trade. At least, I suppose for them, that Nico Q missed on there, but Alkanon, what are they going to do to recover this? They'll be able to, soak a wave, maybe lane swap after this. But that'll be pulling the alarm pretty early, actually, for BLG. And typically, BLG, they'd want the Rumble to be against the Ornn a little bit longer, maybe. Who do you think the best players in their positions right now across all leagues? Well, that's an interesting question. That is a question. You know, I'd actually have to spend some time to think about it, and I haven't had as much time to think about LCK recently compared to LPL. I can definitely answer it for LPL, but LCK, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. I think right now, almost every single player best in role will be from the LCK. I'm not going to get a second passive onto Rookie. Takes one tower shot, but again, just keeps the hurt onto Rookie. Potential of a flash for Shadow, actually, onto Rookie. Rookie realizes that and will recall on the other side. This is an overstay from Rookie. He has flash. Needs to walk away from tower. Will lose some farm. Knight bullying out Rookie in the early stages of the lane. A reminder, folks, that I think Rookie has been on an MVP caliber split so far. He's finally going to get a recall about a minute after he wanted it. Knight can get a recall and get back into the play. Shadow, hang on a second. Wei just missed his flag drag. Teleport in. Oh, Shadow, you have overstayed, my friend. Knight can teleport in and has done so. Shadow needs to choose his retreat path very carefully. Teleport in from Rookie. Doesn't have the stun right now. Flash out early from Shadow, but Rookie will get the stun anyway. E is not bad from Shadow, but I think he'll die anyway. The recall from Shadow, not getting what they want. Passive from Knight, so close. The last auto will take them. Knight gets something down. Another passive from him. Escapes the knockup. Knight doing very well to trade back something there. Potential now of On getting a flash knockup onto Mako. Not able to quite do so. We'll get onto Wei instead. Passive coming through. Actually gets a decent amount of damage onto the clone there too. Knight will get some random extra healing from that. Knight having to cover the blushes of Shadow. The initial recall stops were good, but you can't recall that point in the jungle. The teleport back was so deadly. Shadow has been struggling for BLG after a great early start from him. And Rookie will get himself onto the board. He does die, though, during that play. And, of course, he already used his teleport. He's now down 15 CS. Probably 10 after the waves equalize. Shadow tried to stop another recall. Uses the empowered Q, not the empowered W, which I wonder if that was a mistake, actually. Empowered Q, definitely a mistake there, actually, thinking about it. I think you get definitely more value out of stacking your Concrete. Gets hit by that Nico Q. The E's not bad. And it buys enough time for Knight to get through some passives. The shotgun lands there, too. Rookie had already used his flash earlier to stun that Pantheon. Flag drag just short from Wei onto his old mid laner. Wei 001. Not going to lie, Wei getting the better part of that jungle pathing in the early levels. 10 CS down is Elk still onto Gala. Gala's got a BF sword first back. That used to be the luxury. It's been the luxury buy for a long time. Bot lanes used to be determined by whether you could recall early and get yourself that BF sword. In fact, it's why Ezreal was really strong, because Ezreal could go first item Sheen on the back rather than the BF sword, which was something which hamstringed some champions like Caitlyn, for instance, or Ashe, or other people who want to go towards a Bloodthirster first item. He doesn't have the cull right now, though. I'm going to get that to max scaling later on. Yaya Khan are matching skins. Yes, they are, RNG. However, they did get absolutely butchered at level 1 as they lost the level 1 trade to Sivir. pressing Ghost and running at them with auto attacks, which was less good. That being said, starting to stabilize now. You can see right there. Good knockup, good damage onto Mako. Has the flash, still no heal. Gala not stopped off for that cold yesterday. I was wondering whether he would do just to match the Xayah. I always like seeing cull matching. I always like to see the cull matching if it is words stutters. Cull, I'm so cull maxed. I'm so farm pilled and cull maxing. Knight does have the level 6. There's no flash. Ult coming in from the Pantheon. Going for the surf play over the wall. Rookie has no flash, but he does have a stun. Might be able to trade one back and might be able to do so. Wei has the flash. Has the ult. Should be able to pick this up onto Shadow. It will be a 1-for-1, but Rookie dying means that he'll have less access to some of the farm. Wei will pick this up. It will still be an assist over towards Rookie. Flash in on towards Gala, who spell shields wonderfully. Flashes away from the feather, pull back, ult going forwards. Auto attacks another target. Ghost onto Gala. Will that see him to safety? Yes, it will. Double flash from the Xayah. Rakan not able to secure the kill. Gala losing both summoners, but living through to tell the tale. We have the Shy, Ornn, and Sivir. How can IG lose this game? Well, it's very, very good scaling front to back, isn't it? But BLG sometimes give you a little bit more to think about outside of those front to backs. Wait. 1-0-1. Shadow 0-2. Stunned under that turret. Teleport now onto the top side of the map. Nico recalling. Grub started by Shadow on the top side of the map. Wei still has the dunk, by the way. And that's no flash on the Pantheon. He actually can't stick around. We'll smite one. I think that's as good as they get. Hang on. Wait, Rookie has no flash still. Wait, gonna get jumped on flash down instead. Remember, there is that dunk available from him. Good early damage on the Jarvan, especially onto squishier members. No recall stopped by Gala onto Elk. Means that he won't be around for a fight. No teleport on the top laners. They won't be joining either. IG saw the first grub over. They'll go towards the second one now. Pantheon wanting to farm up. Not contesting here. I think that's the right call. Jarvan's really scary here. Tunnel is a good first back for AD skirmishes. Gives you just enough HP and AD to be threatening. Knight clearing through things. Knight has got the better of Rookie, I will say that. Knight's had the better of Rookie so far. Doesn't have to stay that way. And sadly for BLG, often Knight has been getting the better of his lane opponent, getting great value, but not able to really determine the game because BLG have struggled with vision control, with objective setup, with late game decision making. Not bad poke from Elk and Onn. They've been doing okay in the Xayah Rakan lane to land Ws from Rakan, which will give kind of guaranteed QEs from Elk. Pops that W, gets the extra move speed. Wei's on top side. Hang on a second. There's no flash on the Xayah, and he's going to get pulled into the cage. Is that enough to see him through, though? The Xayah ult will keep Elk alive. It's a masterful bait. Up with the best of them. Elk will use that ult, tank the damage, and Wei goes down. This time, he's the one getting counter-ganked. And IG lose their jungler. Kill over to Shadow. Jump out of Fog of War now, and that's a second one to him. Wei, after winning the early game so hard, gives a counter gank over towards Shadow. That's a great kill back. Knight in a little bit of trouble here. Has the flash in the ult, though. Shouldn't be under too much threat. Hang on, Rookie has the flash. Could potentially kill here. A little bit of threat there. Knight will survive, though. Not use anything important. And we'll teleport back to lane. Was looking for a reset anyway. Is Elk a masturbator? Well, you know, far be it from me to say such things, but I think potentially Elk did a masterful bait here. He could have ulted early to see things off. And ults through a play. Oh, Wei missed the flag drag out. That one's not a masterful bait. That's a disasterful fate. Could have flag dragged out a little bit. Gala has no flash. Oh, gets hit by the center of the ult. That's a pretty sweet spot there. The ult is pretty good from the Nico, but Shadow getting the center of the ult gets the extra damage. A kill back onto the Rakan, though, does mean that Gala gets the kill anyway. Ricochet came through. Off of the minions. That is a lucky kill going over to Gala. A 1-for-1. Did not expect that to happen. IG should have just had one death for no return, but they get one back. Good Q from Mako. Mako's actually been playing pretty well. Good root. Plans out. I think Alex dead this time, folks. There's no one coming to help him. No ultimate hit. Might be able to turn to Mako. Won't be able to. Flag drag comes through. Nico Q will get some extra damage. Well played from Mako to get the root. Force the cleanse. Get the damage down. The early Nico damage is disgusting. Disgusting. That was one of yous, wasn't it? Knight going over the wall. Rookie has flash now. CC combo a little bit awry there. I think you wait for the point and click of the Pantheon, land the Rakan W onto the frozen target afterwards, and then you kill, but still flash away from Rookie, who has been punished very hard by Shadow, Knight, and On. You know, earlier in the year, and into last year as well, one of the problems about BLG is that they never gave Knight resources. Now, it was good because Knight was doing so well, it didn't matter. It would just kill you anyway. You can see here, though, they are actually sending people mid lane. It's been something which top esports and BLG have both sort of done. Top esports had a different issue without... basically, if Kanavi didn't path bot lane would die in a 2v3. So they just... what top esports did was just leave just pure 2v2. Kanavi would invade on top side and run solo lanes. But then teams would just run bot lane instead and kill Jackal and Crisp, of course, it was at the time. They've now evolved into a team where Kanavi ganks bot lane and gives them more resources. BLG, similar thing through mid lane. They just said, well, look, Knight is good enough to just win a game solo through mid lane. And he often did. That's why he was my MVP for earlier splits. But now, I think after seeing Anyone's Legend kind of dunk down on them in 3v1s mid, stuff like that, they're putting more in there. Hang on, this is a 3v2 in mid lane. This is a little bit too much now. He had Cataclysm and Flash. Could have forced summoners out of Knight or Honor Ultimates, potentially. Rookie getting the Faker treatment. Yeah. Worth noting as well, the one thing which Rookie really holds over Faker is a split win in Season 4. Now, of course, Season 8 was huge from him too, but Season 4 LCK, or OGN as it was back then, so hard to win, and he won that summer. Shadow jumping in with the ultimate. Dragon's been leashed. Waze jumped out of the pit. Can they finish off the dragon right now? Will a fight come in before that? Here comes the bin. Rumble. Easy kill. IG being bought into a play around the dragon. Waze trying to see if he can kill the damn thing, but his whole team's dead. The dragon's been leashed and Way won't be able to turn around. Triple kill to Knight on the Aurora. He has turned up to say, look, Rookie, you're in an MVP split, but you have to be better than me. 5 kills tonight, destroying the mid lane matchup as Rookie is sent to 0-3. It's a pretty hard game to watch if you're an IG fan. Things were going pretty well for Way early against his old team, but BLG threw this monstrous killer bunny rabbit with the sharp, pointy teeth. Have got themselves to a huge advantage. Elk walks forward. Great play on the Xayah to just buy out the cooldowns from Rookie, knowing he won't get one shot. The Aurora into the choke point hits so many people, and Knight gets the triple at the end of it. Knight is terrifying. 6 stacks on the Dark Seal after that triple kill. Liandry's building in towards a Riftmaker. And the terrifying thing about the Aurora is that she kills squishies and tanks in about the same amount of time, folks. If you don't know the tech on Aurora, if you go towards the Liandry's and the Riftmaker, you get so much percentage increased damage, which is very important to Aurora because she has so many base damages. Her passive, where you get 3 hits from abilities, goes wild. They're going to look to shut him down. He doesn't have ult. This is likely a kill. Stun under turret. This should be a dead Aurora. Jumps out with a W, but that does mean there's no extra auto attacks coming through. The redemption coming through. And Knight outplays. Knight outplays. Goes invisible as they try and land the CC chain. No auto attacks to follow up. Had some Merc Tread tenacity value and the HP from Liandry's. The redemption from across the map. Knight gets away with it on the weak side of the map. I thought that would be a quite easy kill. Not to be. Knight is surviving, even though he had no flash and no ults. But yes, when you get the Liandry's and the Riftmaker later on, because you get to start with like your QE, but you wait for the Q to time out. You wait until Liandry's and Riftmaker time up with the Haunting Guise passives to give you, what, an extra 16% damage between the two of them, something like that. And that 16% applies to your base damages, not just AP ratios and the extra damage on top of that. Aurora kills squishies and tanks very quickly because her damage is so ridiculously high from that. You think, oh, to kill squishies, you need something like a Ludens or a Malignance or something like that. Well, no. Actually, Aurora is fantastically fine playing around percentage damage increases. Like, if there's a world where there's a Shojin build, she wouldn't be unhappy with that. Of course, there isn't no AD ratios in the kit, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's that similar kind of thing. 5-0, 6 stacks in that Dark Seal, well on the way to that Riftmaker. And it's Knight, he will get a Medjay at some point in this game, folks. He's carrying this game. IG, they failed to shut that down. Spell Shield gets rid of the charm, but not. The knock-up, the ult, aggressive from Elk as the Xayah Rakan does give value. The redemption to keep them topped up afterwards means that IG, they just see BLG buff out the damage on the paid work. A couple of scuffs, healed up by the redemption. IG lose their AD carry. And IG are falling behind the Pantheon so much. Jesus Christ, the Aurora damage, forcing the flash out, and the Cataclysm doesn't really do that much either. Hop over the wall. Knight will accidentally hop into the Herald. Uses that as a bit of an escape card. We've seen that a lot in the LPL. Flash away from the Nico means IG are running out of tools to clutch engage on later. And sadly for IG, you know, Gala's been shut down now. Rookie's been shut down, and the Shy hasn't been in a position to influence the game. BLG cleansing IG from the Rift. Now, it is worth noting. It is worth noting. BLG are bad when it comes to the 20+ minute mark. They throw it out of Khan. They throw it Baron. Spell Shield can't save you against everything. Didn't have Flash to get out of that double angle. Great engage by On. The Redemption afterwards, keep them topped up. Nice as well. Then they can push in for a quick and easy tower kill. They had only the one grub, but the Herald will make up the difference. Despite the level 1 advantage from Gala and Mako, you now see Elk with a 2-level advantage over Gala. Yes, Mako has more XP than On, but support XP means a lot less unless it's around the level 6 mark. First ult of the game does matter. Champions, players like Delight, very good at soaking extra waves to get level 6 for grub fights, for instance. And stuff like Rel, stuff like Renata, that does make a world of difference. We saw that with Zillion support too, actually. Back in Worlds 2021, it was how Diamond beat SKT in the semi-finals. Maokai Zillion. Disgusting stuff. The Maokai support, of course, was part of that combo. Oh, no, it was Jin Zillion, of course. That was it. But the Maokai support, getting the level 6 off the midways. That was what Beryl did to them. Bot lane out of turret will get taken by BLG. Shared between Knight and Elk. So gold going on to ever-increasing problematic gold leads for the Xayah and the Aurora. What is this? BLG looking clean around the map? Playing well through the early game. Significant lead. Localized to this kitchen. Aurora Borealis at this time of year. Can I see it? No. Makes me sad that Simpsons references will continue to get older and older and more faded from memory. They have kind of irrevocably changed society and cultural understanding of certain things. Simpsons, it's very hard to really put into picture how influential it's been. Even though it's lessened impact now, it's still up there. Oh! I used to watch that stuff religiously. Futurama as well. Probably preferred Futurama, actually. Bim, feeling like he's on weak side of the map. He is. We'll clear out a wave. Well played from him. 700 gold ahead. The Shy not really able to make much of a dent in this matchup. Dragon goes over to BLG. IG don't really want to play that much around this. Been walking through his own jungle, just seeing what camps are available. I'll start leashing the blue buff. Wait, is he going to take blue buff himself? Oh, he's almost at the level up. That's why. He wants level 14 before heading back towards lane. I think he's afraid that he's going to potentially get engaged onto on that timing. And Pantheon was just going into the enemy side of the map. Shadow can pick up some XP. Damn, imagine being Shadow and actually like giving a camp over to Bin so he can get himself an extra level there. Oh, ain't that nice. Atakan up in 10 seconds. Beryl the Legend reached 3 World Finals in a row. Yeah, he was damn good in them too, wasn't he? Beryl is one of those players which I think should be remembered as being one of the greatest supports of all time. So creative. Yes, very, very coin flippy, but so creative. Take a sip of coffee. Keep myself hydrated. Is coffee hydrating? Yeah, sometimes it is. I'm going to say it is for the purpose of my mental well-being. Leandris Riftmaker, 6 Dark Seal stacks for Knight. He is ready to pop someone on the other side. What have they got to fire back with? Well, 2 items for the Shy. Does him have himself his own upgraded Kaenic Rooker. And then Despair makes him a very tanky champion indeed. BLG, they have thrown so many games around the Atakan. You know, if I'm playing against BLG, I just wait for them to start Atakan and just see if you can out-team fight. They've been very poor. Hang on a second, the Shy going very low. Ultimate pull by Bin, though, means that the Shy will have to recall. Could teleport into the bot side of the map. Bin's going to recall himself. Atakan started up. Desire helping with this. The wave will spot this. Is there going to be any contest? No. Okay, IG, sadly for them, will not be able to punish an into Khan. Atakan cleanly taken by BLG. This has been one of their biggest pain points in this entire split. This entire year, really. They've not adapted well to the new objective. LPL as a region does not adapt towards new objectives that well. This is just a bunch of Electro Harpians go into the Shy's backside, reducing the magic resist. Combo onto turret. That's going to set up for a dive onto Bin. The Tib is getting some value. Teleport in from the Aurora. They need to finish this off pretty quickly. Nico ult going on to the anti-stun. Aurora will be here, though. Forces one flash. Will get potentially another kill. Second flash instead. Knight, Riftmaker stacked up. Has the W to jump force. 3 flashes for one, buddy. We'll spot him out in the brush there. Has Merc Treads to help him out a little bit. Gala's used that ultimate to go forwards. Knight, can he get the kill? Yes, he can! The shotgun comes through. Is anyone else coming into his service? No. Not at this point. Gala will get the kill on the backside. 1,000 gold shot down to the Sivir. That's a pretty penny in the pocket. 3 flashes blown by Knights, and he will get 1. But giving over that shutdown towards that scaling Sivir, that is a little bit scary. 2 for 1 on the top side because Bin died in the dive before it. I think IG will take that, though. The shutdown onto that Aurora, removing some of the Dark Seal stacks. He will take that. Us millennials will still keep the Simpsons quotes alive. I don't think I count as... Do I count as millennial or am I Gen Z? I was 96. I don't remember that, actually. No, Rookie gets the stun and the chunk onto Bin. Basically just prepping the dive. Gets some damage through. Knows he can get a free chunk hit. Wei took aggro. Nico's the one who has to engage because of that then. Fly Drag landed after. Knight got a 3-man ult. Wonder whether he should have just focused on killing Wei instead. Walks up, both of them sweepers running. Q landed. E flashed to secure the kill. Cataclysm came through. Knight knew he was going to at least get 1 out there. But the 1,000 gold shutdown, very important for Gala. 96 is Millennium. Right, good to know, Mike. Thank you. Could have gotten away instead of checking brush. Yes and no. I think maybe Knight shouldn't have died there. I think he should have just taken the flashes and out. You can save your own flash at that point. That's GG, by the way. It has just given 1,000 gold over to an Ornn item Sivir. The Yuntal Wild Arrow is now upgraded for Gala. That is a ton of AD. BLG don't have a tank, so it's not like Gala really needs to go towards Lord Domit's regards. If Sivir hits 3 items, man, I don't know. Aurora is one of the better checks into Sivir, because you can only spell shield a part of the combo. And often Aurora has excess damage to kill you. If you spell shield the Q, that is quite valuable, because it stops the passive activating so easily. On jumped onto, has flash, has ults. Knight gets the double things onto that, uses the ults out of the way, gets some damage onto Wei. Could have maybe W'd out of the ult. Now no Aurora ults. I think that's a good trade for IG. That means that the Sivir is more safe. This is the first front-to-back 5v5 of the game we're going to see, folks. And I'm not going to lie. I think IG are now, despite being down in gold, I think they're favored in it. No Aurora ult. 1,000 gold shutdown given over to Sivir. I think Knight might rue that at the end of the day. BLG letting the objective control go over to IG. Pantheon all into the backline. He's going into an Annie stun, though. He hasn't pulled it just yet. Sivir ult on the way back. Ornn ult's good. Dragon secured. I think this is a good team fight for IG, all in all. Stun goes on to Ollie. He can't engage now. IG, get the Dragon. Do they want an extra fight? They're potentially walking forwards. Flash knockup onto Bin. Maybe a little far there. Shotgun lands onto just the clone, actually. Got a little bit baited by that. The Shy loses the flash, but gets it out of Bin. IG get a Dragon. They get to start scaling now. They can deny earlier Soul on the Ocean Soul map to BLG. Oh, recall stop by On. Onto On, rather. Not by On. Cancel out by that flag. Surprised it worked that way, because it's magic damage from Wei's standard, and he did have a magic shield from the extended Merc Treads there. Surprised it cancelled it that way. Typically, when damage goes into a shield, it doesn't cancel the recall. Still 2,000 gold ahead in the mid lane is Knight. But you do just get a bit worried about a scaling Sivir Ornn comp, don't you? Especially when you have the Jarvan standard giving you an extra 30% attack speed at max rank, which it now is at. You forget about these things. If Jarvan drops a standard, it's effectively like having another Zeal item in terms of attack speed for Gala. So don't just consider him being 2.5 going on 3 items. He's actually closer to maybe 4. Especially with the Ornn item in 2. He's in range of that flag. The extra 30% attack speed, I mean, it gets you through your ricochet so quickly. And of course, attack speed means that your flicker blades are more valuable too. The more attacks you get, the more flicker blades procs, because it's on hit, on attack. I think BLG, we might be heading towards BLG, the acronym bad late game again. Wei can aggro Baron, get a little bit of poke onto Elkanon. Yeah, I think Knight giving that shot down to Gala, I think that might be a crucial misplay. This is one death of the game. And don't get me wrong, Knight has still been the best player on the Rift so far. Very impactful cleanse from that spellbook. Oh, rookie, he has flash. Sorry, it's Mako rather. Mako, sorry, my bad there. Loses there a lot of HP. Game's slowing down a little bit. Arm shared between Elk and Knight. Don't really want that. Three items in from Elk, slightly ahead in gold compared to Gala, but you have to favor the Sivir over the Xayah coming into the next few fights. Hey, Mason, good to see you. From my son. Blue buff being stolen away will be a team blue buff reminder, because it's just as Baron is spawned, or after that, 2 minutes, right? As soon as Baron spawns, the buffs which you take apply to your entire team. They don't get passed on anymore, though. You can't buff steal. Rookie walking topside. 2-level disadvantage, by the way. The Atakan really helping BLG. 36 petals to 15. The Atakan giving you extra value from them as well. An extra 25% value. Sivir on IE. You know what, folks? I think Gala can carry this now. Doesn't matter that Rookie's behind in gold. If you just get some CC onto people, that's a problem. On, chain CC, completely dead. On, had no right being there. You had no teammates even near you. Shared perma CC'd as On. That's a bad death from a guy that's had... Hang on, is it Elk's turn to now randomly ints? IG, hang on a second. They have a lot of damage. They can go towards the Baron. I think they can. They can go for a topside dive if they want to. I think IG can go Baron. I think they can. They have so much damage on Gala's Sivir, and they can tank it for forever with the Ornn. Perhaps they're afraid of sitting in the pit against the Aurora. There was an option for them. I thought with the Ornn and the Sivir, they'd have enough DPS to force BLG to teleport to that side of the map, potentially. On got his W interrupted by Ornn. Yeah, for all the slipperiness of Rakan, if you do get the CC chain started on him, he does... First tend to die pretty quickly after that, even with the upgraded Merc Treads. So all that ends up doing is giving vision control to IG. You give vision control around the Baron. In fact, I haven't done this at all this game, but you look at awards like around here, here, here. A little bit of shallow vision. Now there is a problem though. You will see all the outer turrets from BLG still stand. That means it's hard to get vision into like this kind of line. Now, around Baron, you want to get some out. Hang on a second. Knight getting caught down on the top side. Maybe they don't need it. Jumping over. He's just way too far up. Way too far up. Has flash, doesn't use it. Knows he's gone way too far. That's such an easy kill onto Knight. And suddenly, with the Aurora dead, perhaps they can fight it. Maybe they can fight the Baron now. There's no Aurora combo into it. Just Knight pushing up way too far. IG had just gotten vision control on that top side. Elk now going against the Shy. Will put on his ultimate. It might be too late, though. Ult from Ornn lands onto him. He's still safe, though. And IG do not get the killer blow. Flash forwards, gets onto the carries again. And the Sivir gets the free fire. The equalizer is magnificent on the other side of it, though, as Bin turns, burns, takes down 2, and Bin's Rumble cooks IG alive. Even after killing Knight, after killing Elk, they forget there's a carry in the top side. The 2-item Bin goes absolutely mental. They'll take down the mid lane in a turret as IG. That should have been the game-winning play for them. Instead, they go too far looking for an extra kill. And Bin turns things around. The upgraded shoes from the Feats of Warfare give him the pen he needs on top of the 2 items. And now BLG will get themselves a 4-man Baron. Maybe even 5 if they can get it onto Elk. I have no idea how BLG turned that around. After losing Knight, after losing Elk at the start of the play... After Gala flew into the play, 3+ items ricocheting through it, IG cannot get the kills. The equalizer is the damage they need. For those of you that don't know, the Chinese community have often dunked on Bin's Rumble because it's not been that good compared to his other champions. But that right there shows you the practice he's put into it. IG will get themselves soul point. That could actually be an issue for BLG, but the Baron onto all 5 members will be a destructive sledgehammer they can use. The ultimate from Elk, pretty good actually. Does get CC'd after, but he's bought distance and got a decent amount of damage onto Wei. So what the hell happens over here after this? Gala walks in, gets a double Q, gets exhausted. He gets exhausted by the spellbook of the Rakan. And then Bin gets to turn it around. If that exhaust doesn't drop, I think they kill 2 through that. Top side of the map, On dies again, though. In the picture-in-picture. That's going to blunt a little bit of the Baron push. On. Some bad deaths from him this game. Bad deaths in general from BLG. You know, Knight and On and Shadow all had a couple of oopsies as they've misread the map. This is a problem with BLG. BLG are not great at reading the map anymore. This is where you can pull them apart a little bit. That will blunt the Baron push just a bit. Now, it's just the support. In terms of pushing potential, the least important person to actually be around to buff up minions, of course. IG may well survive through to an Ocean Soul. This game is not over, folks. Not by any means. On just CC'd out. The W does get through, but then they have a Sivir roll. He uses W. And I think Knight knows that On is dead. There's no point in him sticking around to die as well. On's the one that's caught. Let him take the L, you know? Okay, IG, they see the win angle now. It's get to that dragon and fight with a better fight with that 3.5 item Sivir. Garlic could not do that last time because the equalizer was so damn good from Bim. He has himself 3 items. The upgraded boots, as we said, giving him some percent and flat pen. BLG, a minute left of the Baron. 2,000 gold up. It's not fantastic for a power play. It's fine. 4 items on Elk, who does have himself the Lord Dominate's Regards. Now, Knight has a Shadow Flame. It's pretty terrifying. Now, what that means is that if you get the full combo, but you keep the Q on target, chances are the burn will bring them down into the point where the Q will always get that Shadow Flame crit. First pulled by On from the spellbook. Not exactly sure what he was looking for there. Pushing in 2 lanes, not the 3. We don't really see 1-3-1 with Baron buffs anymore because ever since G2 2019 showed us that you can just engage onto the 1-man unit or 3-man unit, you can't really do that. The equalizer's nasty. The blood ladder's popping. Gala going low. Remember that. Hang on a second. On's going to get turned around onto, and he'll die in return, though. Maybe that's the option. On, another death from him. It's been an awkward split of deaths from him. Shadow caught out has GA. He can at least respawn. I think he made a mistake using that empowered Q. He won't have the E when he comes off of the cooldown. Now, Bin getting caught in the Cataclysm. IG trying to get one last bit of burn. A flash forward for a Bellows Breath, which doesn't quite get it. And on the other side, Knight shotguns back into their face. He still has the Aurora ultimate. Can potentially get a kill over the wall. It'll be 1 and out. On. Getting caught again. Remember at MSI when he was on the Nautilus through nearly a 1 game back towards, I forget who it was. Was it Mad Lions or was it against FlyQuest? Trying to remember. On, misreading where he can safely go. Walks into the Annie. Rookie, credit to him. Had a rough early game, getting a ton of resources onto him. I think they're spotting out the Ricochet. As the Ricochet goes, the Ricochets do a lot of damage now, don't they? Yeah. His teammates of Elk and Shadow delivering it to him. It's like when you got a brand on the other team. Don't stand too close to people. Shadow loses his GA. I think he shouldn't have used that empowered Q as he went down. I think he could have maybe looked for something more useful than empowered E a little later on. The Ricochet's doing so much work. Maker lucky to make it out of that alive, by the way. Dragon now in a minute. I think IG can win the next fight, despite BLG having the advantage. I don't think IG feel bad about this next fight. They've scaled up. They have a level 17 Ornn. He's given those items towards all of his teammates now at this point. That's gold, which you will not see on the scoreboard. They have an extra dragon. The Patrals are in favor of BLG. That is a bonus for them. And the Atacama will help them with that too. It means that they have 2-level advantage on AD carry and mid-level advantage, 2 in jungle, 1 in top lane. Bot lane is the one which, of course, AD carry. That's so. BLG hit 11,000 kills as an organization. A lot younger of an organization than Invictus Gaming, which have been around since the start of the LPL. Often not referred to as one of the big fan bases compared to the early days because they weren't as successful back then compared to Team WE, EDG, of course RNG as well. EDG actually came in a little bit later, of course, but still viewed as one of those huge fan bases with the success they had. A little later on, Rookie has level 16, has flash. First bit of the Ornn misses, the second bit's even worse. That's not good from the Shy. Good Q coming through from Gala will take some chunk out of Elk, but they have Redemption. That'll help even more, actually. Using that earlier, I don't mind that. The Shy, ooh, that's a problem. Pantheon ult coming in, separating out the team. On going forwards. The Nico ult is stopped in its tracks. Elk putting up the feathers in the choke point. I think this is the one fight for BLG. A missed Ornn ultimate, a failed disengage, and IG lose their top laner. A lot of HP on Gala, who also loses the flash. I think this is the game-ending fight for BLG. Despite their late-game woes in previous series, this one looks a little bit better in game 1. Great play from Elk to just put down their ultimate feathers in the choke point. Give no hope of IG fighting back. But it's really the missed ult from the Shy which sees BLG the winning angle. Is there any other play now? Gala going to be forced onto by Shadow. Spell shields well, but that's the Aurora ultimate coming through. IG don't lose anyone. Gala spell shielding well. Down to half HP. We'll be able to survive through that. Dragon is alive. IG. Hang on a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. BLG, guys. You are giving time for the Shy to respawn. You better head towards that dragon. I think that might be a problem. Is the clean feed? Oh, please, not now. Now, this is not the time to freeze. This is not the time to freeze at all. Clean feed frozen. That is really not good there, folks. Really need that to fix itself up. We've got a Soul Dragon spawning now. Really need that back and available. Where the hell is the gameplay? Where is that gameplay? Where is the objective? Please do not tell me the game-ending fight will happen in the blackness of our screens. Where is it gone? Where is the clean feed? Where is that volume? There we are. Where are we? Where are we? Give us the gameplay immediately. What's happened? Dragon was taken by BLG. That is really, really not very good there, folks. Clean feed, sort yourself out. Rookie will stop a recall onto the other side. Bin gonna get caught out on the recall. Level 18, it doesn't matter. The rumble goes down. And in the late game, BLG get the dragon, but they lose one on the recall. And Rookie getting himself a great kill there on the back end of the plate. Nocturne altered our screen, folks. Nothing we can control on that one, sadly. And IG, they do not give over an Ocean Soul. That's important. The Shy will take some damage here. Ultimate into the choke point. Knight had the full Leandries and the Riftmaker flash onto the Aurora, and Gala can get some damage down. The Shy, will he be stopped in the second part of his ultimate? No, he will not, and he'll go down as well. Elk is alive. He'll ignore some damage, but not enough. Gala, full HP. It's currently a 2 for 3, a 3 for 1 as things go through. As Pantheon also goes down to the back end of the plate. That should be the sign that IG can start the Baron. There's no teleport on Knight for him to get back into the play. If he wanted to, he has enough HP, but God, Bin dying on that recall may well cost BLG the game. Objective bounty for IG. Even more items, an extension of the game, and IG get to keep things going. So what happens here? Bin dies very, very quickly. On gets the spell shield out of Gala, but not the knockup. Might get some good damage down. And that leads to the death of the Shy. Elk not in great position, though. Elk's late game positioning here leaves a lot to be desired. Elk needs to do so much more than that in the late game. Gets butchered in the late game fight. Tries to follow up on the play, leaves himself out of position. IG much better at peeling back into the choke points, giving Gala a better position to ricochet from. He's full build now. He's 3,000 gold ahead of Elk. You had a good mid game, had some good moments on the Xayah, but right there, that positioning left a lot to be desired. Jumping over the wall. Wait, spotted. Hang on a second. There is a quickness here. He'll get it on target. Rookie over the wall. I don't think they see him. Gala can fight into the choke points. That'll end up being the quickness for nothing. Red buff starting to get taken. Clones used to scout out. I don't know if BLG see their winning angle anymore. I mean, this is a really fair Aurora still, yes, but I don't think you're one-shotting people in the backline very easily. Shadow struggling to have impact in the late game fights in the same way. Gala, full build. Has himself a Bloodthirster. The upgraded Yuntal. Is there a locket to go onto him? No, I think he could use a little bit of... I actually wonder if the Shy should go towards a Knight's Vow or a locket or something like that. Maybe even Redemption himself. I know he wants to be tanky, but you need Gala to stay alive. IG. Another shot at Ocean Soul in 2 minutes. Yes, BLG will get it themselves, but I actually think even if BLG get Ocean Soul, I don't think it wins them the game. BLG, they have struggled in late game. They said in interviews that Shadow is their shot caller this split. He talks so much that he naturally falls into that role. If that's the case, then perhaps there is a finger to be pointed there. Because their shot calling around objectives around late game has been poor. Deathcap on the way for Knight. He needs that now. I think if he gets Deathcap, he can one-shot Rookie or Gala in a way that he couldn't before. I think the upgraded Merc Treads are actually fairly impactful. I'm not going to blame him for not going for Pen Boots. Rookie has himself Deathcap 2 now, by the way. Which, we upgraded into a Rabadon's Death Crown. Wait, hang on a second. Went over Raptors. He's not been spotted. Will they spot the shot? They spot the flag. They spot the flag. They should know he's around now. He gets jumped on to Elk. Elk is going to turn around for a huge round of damage. He doesn't have flash, though. Elk, he's face checked into the side and Way's magnificent vision play kills the enemy. 80 carry. IG get themselves the Xayah for free. Wei against his old team of BLG, the team which kicked him for Beitron and then Shadow, might have just delivered the killer blow in game 1. BLG's late game vision control, their macro, has been their undoing. And the jungler is apparently their shot caller for it. They've said it themselves in interviews. Not to dunk down too much on him, but if he is struggling, perhaps there is something to be discussed there. BLG do not look like they know where they're going. The equalizer, the ultimate coming through. The powered E is not enough to keep him alive for that long. He'll go down for one last flick of those, that Chalice, those cross blades. Where's the extra damage? Shadow goes down. That's an awful ultimate from him. He just jumps into his death. It's not Helldivers, it's not ODSD, but he still jumps feet first into hell. And that's going to leave the jungler dead for the soul. BLG stands for bad late game. IG will get themselves Ocean Soul after turtling and coming out of the shell and smashing BLG's head in. The equalizer and the ultimate from the Pantheon, just not good enough. Elk dying before that left them without that DPS. It's hard for Desire to walk forwards into the play anyway. Great vision play from Wei to catch out Elk. Now, you could blame Elk for walking close to Fog of War. You spotted the flag there. This is after he's died, of course. We won't get a replay of that. The center of the ult does actually land well. But the Nico ultimate does so much work to buy time. Gala instantly one-shots the Pantheon. This is the power of the late game Sivir. It's one of the reasons why Sivir has been played so well. Great laning phase, but you know you have that assurance in the back pocket. 8, 3, and 4. I think Gala has had a spectacular late game. And BLG, they're on the back foot now. Ocean Soul on the other side. They didn't have the damage to begin with. Bin has flash, might have to use it. Doesn't use it right now. Knocked up, the CC chain starts, and Bin, you might have wanted to use that flash. Goes down twice in critical late game scenarios. Lost them the Baron. And right there, might lose them the base. BLG's late game just leaves so much to be desired. Knight, 7 and 2, but cannot determine this game. BLG as a team do not know how to pick apart this IG composition, who have done so well at picking the engage and peeling back from BLG's lackadaisical plays. Redemption will stop some recalls coming in, interestingly. Baron up in 30 seconds. It's not close enough for them to rush it. Elk has flash now. Will that be enough? A flash Xayah with GA. A flash Aurora. Doesn't have death cap yet, importantly. He really needs that. That late game stat stick is so much needed from them. IG draft gap. Now, the thing is, when it gets to 44 minutes, you're completely right. It's a draft gap. BLG shouldn't play towards, shouldn't win that. However, BLG should have ended this game multiple times before. Baron's now started. Teleport in from the Rumble, who has a death cap himself. Bin has struggled in this late game. Flash forward on tonight. They catch him on the edge of that too. Ults forwards, but the CC chain might just land anyway. Gets out to safety. Mako uses his combo. Removes a lot of threat from that Aurora, but Knight will make it out alive. Wei has flash, has ult. Might be able to go flash for flash with Elk. Might be worth to do so. He pulls it out early. Flash out of the Xayah. That's all they need. That's all they need. No summoner now on that on. Trying to protect Elk, double knock-up. They still have the ultimate, and he won't even use it. Elk goes down into the GA. Pantheon comes back into the play as well. BLG, where's the magic? You don't have the damage. They'll get some damage onto the backline. GA pops by Gala. He'll revive, and Shadow goes down. Rookie good stun. As Bid is caught out again. Died at the start of the play, dies at the end. 3 kills for IG as they'll keep walking forwards as Elk could not get peeled for. The fella pullback, not enough. Invictus Gaming rule the late game as BLG cannot get it done. They cannot get it across the line. Teleports into the base. Invictus Gaming, they shut up shop. They wait till late game. They saddle up and will beat BLG in game 1. 45 minutes plus, but IG saddle up and the late game advantage comes through. Wei will kill his old mid laner as Knight cannot rule the game from the early advantage. BLG, 2 uncoordinated. Invictus Gaming, 2 on point in the late game. That we can get some Kanavi's the best jungler in the world. Kanavi is so damn good. I don't know if he's best in the world right now, but he's very good. If you could make add an Ahri skin based off of any Uma, what would you choose? I have Vi Orianna or Nocturne Orianna. Knight is clearly the best player on BLG. If you give other people the go button which he's supporting, I don't think you're making the best use of Knight. This is a comp where Shadow has to call the engages. He's been struggling. Knight has to now combo up with him, and I'm sorry, Shadow, I don't think you should be calling the shots ahead of Knight. You want to give Knight the extra agency. On goes for the Leona, extra dive, extra potential to jump in. But I think IG are going to set up such a good anti-dive here that it's going to be so hard for BLG to reach the target. I think IG have outdrafted here quite heavily. You know, you have extra damage on the Wukong. The Galio can also be a threat too. Mako just needs to now pick something that does well in lane versus the Leona. That can be a bit... Tempered Fate of the Bard can leave your team fight very, very hard to navigate. BLG set themselves up for a very difficult scenario. Their drafts have not been fantastic. Coaches fist bump on stage. Let's get ourselves into potentially last game of the day. Let's see those gyros. So sorry, I was distracted for 1 second. Important game. But I was distracted by Don Jake doing a Jamaican accent, replying to Raz on Twitter. Enough said about that, I guess. Rookie. Oh, manages to get the Q on tonight at the start of lane. Normally quite a long cooldown, so you often have to make a choice between poking the enemy champion or hitting the minions. Of course, Rookie had an insane Galio just the other day. Second Q of the lane, then gets to be put onto the minion, whilst also retaining some poke onto Orianna there. Typically, the Orianna really bullies about the Galio in laning phase. See how this laning phase at the level 1 goes. Of course, the Leona can struggle at level 1. Can, of course, walk up and get the Shield of Daybreak. Does so. Well, for the Spellbook, not gone for the... Yeah, not gone for the Zenith Blade. Trying to get through another Q. Lethal Tempo. Good Q there from Mako. Elk popping the Ghost and getting nothing done with it. Getting nothing done with that Ghost. This is a problem. Gala on Nymaera. Gala Nymaera. Got a pentakill on it. The Prince of Pentas himself. Adding another champion to his repertoire of full team kill champions. Winning the early levels. We were wondering actually whether... Oh, hang on a second. Jumping forwards. Use that E movement speed. Gets ignited now. Doesn't have the cleanse afterwards. Gets full value from that on very low HP. Mako using that extra empowered auto attack onto Elk. Wasn't quite in range for on there, I don't think. Thank you for the extra emotes there, Amber. I appreciate them. Knights. Potentially going to get jumped on by Wei here. Rookie could look for a flash E, and he does. Just about miss it. Phase rush available for Knight. Is he going to be able to get out in time? Wait. Oh, gets out with that flash bonk. Wait, gets an early gank down. Rookie, great setup. That Q at the level 1 helping. Honor's now recalled from bot side. Flash in for the stun, and that'll be a kill on the bot side. Traded it for a 1-for-1, but the wave dies to tower, so it's massive advantage for IG. Killing the mid lane in a 2v1, killing the bot lane after beating out On in the early levels. IG, they're onto something here. Good draft, good early game. BLG on the ropes already. By the way, Helo, thank you so much for the resub as well. I did notice that over there as well. My man's going to have to play out of his mind to not get Vyambessa Oriolted. That's true. But I do think that Gala, with a Galio ult on his head, especially if Galio's winning the game as well, winning the lane, it'll make all the difference. It's not a bad flash from Knight. He just couldn't quite get himself the phase rush in time. Where he gets that bonk, flash that for tower. An extra tower shot would have just about killed him. Maybe close. Then make up Q flash. Very hard to avoid the bard there. Can't hide in the minions. Can't hide against the wall. Flashes, dies anyway. He's trying to reaction flash, so this sucks that it happens just a split second after. Knights, now coming through mid lane. Anything else happens here? Whoa, Rookie's over the wall. Shadow, quite low HP now. Bin on top side, coming off of his wave first. Yunara's up there too now. Find out Way, get some damage down onto him. Scuttle Crab flamed. Well, I guess Way was looking to avoid getting double scuttled. Shadow took that bot one first. BLG, this early game worry crops up again. Hey, we even have a bit of a hype train going. Let's go. Appreciate all the support in Twitch today. The raid earlier. And of course, over to the many of you watching on Onivia as well. I've got over 1,000 people watching on that. Very flattering to see you tune in for LPL like this. And I hope you enjoying this fine Monday. Or whatever time of day it is for you out there. The BLG fans, probably not the brightest of days right now for IG. Wow, things started poorly. Ended very well in that last game. And once again, you have Gala on a hyper-scaling AD carry to an extent. Actually, Yunara in the very late game. He actually struggles to be a hyper carry. Definitely a strong damage source. And then you have the Shy on a tank. Rookie on the Galio. Has global threat. Has early presence here now too after that early assist. I do think that Knight, you could argue, has been the better laner. The better player than Rookie across the series. But Rookie has provided to the team what he's needed to. Often that's the case though with Knight. Knight will often be the best player on the team, but strategically BLG just struggle to make things meet. Like ends meet, I suppose. We've had some good early games, some good mid games. Even then, the early games have been flimsy. I mean, they're quite easy to predict in jungle pathing. Jumping forwards on. Takes a tower shot there. Good damage on the way back as well. Gala putting that Q on. One of the things about the Yunara is that once you stack up your Q, you can use it like the Ashe Q, where you can get an auto attack reset off of it. It's very quick for Yunara as well, so a quick double auto attack gets you stacked up on lethal tempo very quickly. Oof, gets stunned through the minion there. Managed to get the prayer bead on target there. IG, today it's my birthday, please win. Well, Datsukes, I hope they win for you then. BLG JJ went. You know, funnily enough, on Chinese social media, there was people running a poll, and I think it was like a 70% vote rate for yes, let's get BLG JJ. Now, I don't know how much of that is memeing, and I'm sure part of it's just like a lot of it is just the meme at this point. Jump forwards again, another good Zenith play. Cleanse out a Gala this time. Good arrow from the Lethality Varus. Starting to get more control back in this 2v2 after losing those early kill. That early kill, rather, not early kills. Just the singular. Just the one, actually. Yeah, a lot of it will be memeing. But still, funny that that conversation is now out there. Giving a top team Varus is typically a way to lose a game. Typically. Having said, Gala Yunara has been impressive so far when we've seen it. Apparently the Chinese read Reddit and appreciate our memes too. Awesome. Do they view Twitter at all? Because I have some very good BLG memes recently. I don't even know if they know who I am, but maybe not. I'm a little bit small fry on that front. But I've had some very good BLG memes over time. I had Your Bin Day is Changing. I've had BLG Bad Late Game. We had the BLG Wants to Know Your Location recently too. Jump forwards and Rookie. I don't think it's going to do that much. Decent trade though. Galio can rack up trades like this quite effectively, because of course, after a while, you can get to the point where your W will recharge, Shockwave back in, Rookie uses the E to buff around. Good damage, but not that effective. Rookie can recall and get back into the play with his ults, which is why BLG wanted to make a play right then, actually. Sent a play just short if that had hit. Put him in a good timing before Galio could go back and regen. The Shy farm alarm on bot side, the global ult sound signifies him going towards bot lane. Drop started, BLG will be able to get at least one here, you'd assume, before Smite Fight comes through, dragging them out of the pits. So is it just one and out for Shadow? Just one and out? Gets the first one. Yeah, that'll be it. Testing over the others now. There is a Vi level 6. No Shockwave behind it. Q just short. Bonk onto him. Gets the arm shred. Ooh, prayer bait onto Knight. Doesn't have that much to escape with. Flashes away. I was wondering if that flash wouldn't be enough, you know. But Mako didn't have 6. Gala didn't have 6 either to run and then dash at him. 2 grubs to the side of IG. They definitely know you, Alex. There are 1 or 2 people that do. In fact, there was someone who was, ages ago, who was offered to help set up a Weibo page for me, which I really should have done back then. They definitely know the former LPL English devs. But they know people like Munchables quite well, but they don't necessarily know myself, because I wasn't actually in China that much. I only was in China the one time. That being said, I've got long hair, fairly, you know, recognizable. Anyway, whatever. Less about me. No, more about me. Haha. Yes. My stream. Gala getting a recurve bow in. See whether he's going towards, oh no, it will be, yeah, Blade or Kraken Slayer, right? Just wait, does Kraken Slayer build out of recurve blow anymore? Oh god, it shows you how much I play that item. I just never build Kraken Slayer anymore. Anyway, it does build his Blade, the Ruin King, likely going towards that. Shy doing fine in this match, doing more than fine in this match. 10 CS up. We were talking about how the Shy's tank play has been very, very good recently. Q gets some more damage out there. Yeah, that has happened before. Oh, that's a good step aside from the Shy. Has flash, has ult, should be able to get out with it. Trying to see if he can get away without using it. Flashes away now. I think you probably should have just flashed and then ulted first, the Shy. Going under turret. I think the Shy, that's an unnecessary death. Good slap back from BLG. We'll get the kill there. It goes on to Vi, not onto the Ambassador, I suppose, which they would have liked. Yeah. Way walking towards bot side. Ult onto the tower means that the full cycling can come through. The tower is not heated up just yet. Do they have enough damage? I think they do. Way will make it out alive. Great play by Mako. His bard has been excellent. You know, it's not a pick he's played that much, but the Qs through the minions, might be a reset stop here. I'm going to walk up and we'll be able to do so. Rookie will not be able to reset and then teleport back quite as quickly. How far is On going to do with this? He's going to ult him. You going to ignite him? No. Not wanting to do that much there. But Mako, so good on the Bard so far. And this is not a pick which I really associated with him. Not really. Ults now onto the Varus. We'll get a little bit... The Shy might die here. Trying to clear out the wave. I think... Okay, he's quite tanky. All right. I misjudged that a little. But you see that last arrow coming through. And you see, it's not that hard to kill the Scion yet. Especially with a 3-stack Varus set of abilities. That can really, really hurt. Who kills Scion late game? The idea is that you dive past the Scion and it won't be an issue. Also, you'd be surprised how much damage a full damage Varus arrow can do. And weirdly, Vi very good at killing tanks. Vi can 1v1 a Scion late game sometimes. Although getting a ton of nerfs recently might not be true anymore. Yeah, you'd be surprised Vi with a Black Cleaver and a Sunder Sky can do a ton of damage. When it's IG WXZ playing, best ADC in the world, that's a good deep cut. For those of you that don't know, I think WXZ was like the former owner of IG, who subbed himself into play with the World Championship IG roster and won a best of 3 with them. Ridiculous. Neko tunnels over the wall. Dragon goes to BLG, first one of the game. A little bit late for that first dragon, but as we say here, the most valuable thing you have as a jungler is time. And taking a dragon takes a lot of it, so you don't always take it early. Plate can be taken by Elk just before the teleport comes in. Knight. Fighting with Rookie. Onto as well. Rookie has Flash. Fairly tanky. Oh, and a good shockwave there. The Sombrero works. Rookie outplayed by Knight in the bot side as he flashes to his own demise. Good play for Knight. And he makes his entrance into this game. 1,000 gold up on Rookie, by the way. That could be important. We did say, look, we didn't like the Orianna for Knight, not because he's bad at the champion, but because he doesn't call the shots as much. Bin, gonna get full CC chain, but he gets the ult onto Wait. Is it enough? Cyclone coming through. I don't think the flash will be enough and he'll die. Mako tunneling through. But he may have to add on a little bit of extra CC as well. So a win in one side lane, a loss in another for both teams, actually. Cross mapping, well and truly. Jump over the wall. Slow on Tagali, gets the move speed out. Where's the arrow going? Wide is where it's going. Shadow over the wall. No shockwave here. The Shy is here. Ulting onto the Wukong. That's a full charge. Sion Q, though, in the brush. They didn't spot him. And Shadow goes down. Wei will die as well. Knight now has red buff. I think he can chase him down here, actually. This should be a 2-for-1. Knight gets himself the extra damage needed. And the Shy will flash and die as he gets a double kill. Does Knight. Fighting all over the map, though. Elk dies in his own jungle. IG, given as good as they get across the map. What have we just seen? So, that was Mako forcing a flash from Elk with an ult. Flashes everywhere just being blown for the hell of it. Some of them very, very bad. The Shy, bad flash. Rookie, bad flash in bot side. Mid lane tower. Fully finished off by IG? I think so. Oh, flash forward trying to catch them out under that. Good flash forward from Shadow. Gets himself a kill onto Mako as they overstay for the tower. But that being said, outer turret for 1 death. Get the flash out of the Vi too. I actually don't think IG mind that. Wait, what the hell happened here? Hang on a sec. What? So this is how he died. So he blew his flash first. Gala got the move speed. Shreds him down. Yeah, Blade of the Rink and Gala. Nymaera, by the way. Oh, it's not Blade. It's Kraken Slayer. Does obscene amounts of damage. What's happening in this top side? Well, the Shy, his tower's dead, so we won't have that to help him. I think the Shy's gonna die again, folks. Well, the Shy's just died in the side lane once more. I wish I could say that's an uncommon phenomenon, but it's not. Rookie will take a tower on the other side at least. First tower did go to IG. Question mark? Doesn't matter. They have defeated strength anyway. Oh, they took the mid lane tower. Yeah, of course they did. IG took the first tower there earlier. Mako has ult. Potentially, hang on a second. Shy doesn't have that good shockwave onto Gala. Oh, that is so close to killing. Less than 30 HP. Good shockwave by Knight. He's had a good Orianna game outside of getting caught out in that 2v2. Now caught out in their own jungle. Wei has... Oh, missed ult from the Ambassador. Wei had flash, uses the Cyclone. That is going into mid lane outer turret. No, he's afraid of getting Cyclone there, I guess. So we'll just put it through midway, pushing the mid lane instead. Taking it on a roundabout journey. Have averaged 19.1 kills a game. In terms of deaths a game. Where are they with that? IGF 15.5, BLG 15.0. So, hang on a second. BLG, kills and deaths per game, about 34. That's over a kill a minute average in BLG games, because death also counts towards the kills per minute, right? And the same for IG. Both of them have over an average kill a minute. That's fantastic. I love that. That's LPL for you. These two teams do love to scrap right here. A little bit below the kill per minute average, but on. Punted back away from the enemy jungle. Both Wei and Shadow in decent spots now. Triforce for Wei. Shadow has the makings of his second item, Black Cleaver. Wei will spot out the members in the brush there. Huge leads to Knight in the mid lane though. 1.7k. Will it matter that much though? No. The Galio, pretty strong just on utility items. On pops that W. Dragon started by IG. Now, will they get engaged onto properly here? Hang on a second. Shadow coming in. Finn does have ult. Gala forced to back off a little bit. Dragon taken by IG. Varus ult onto the Shy. Does have ult. Good ult. It's a little bit anti-synergy. It's not too bad. The Q coming through a little late from the Shy who goes down early. Where's that Galio ult going? It's going into the backline. Shockwave onto 2. BLG out. Team fighting. Taking down Gala. Leaves them without so much damage. Niall pick up another kill. Great Shockwave in the middle of the fight from the Orianna. Rookie flashes over the wall. I don't think he gets out from this. I don't think he gets out. There's so many people heading towards him. He doesn't have a teleport. On won't go for the full kill himself because he knows he can die. Just supposed to ignite on to make sure there's nothing like a silly, you know, thingy or whatever going. Kill over tonight. No exhaust. No exhaust the other thing. Oh, execute. On to Rookie. 5, 1, and 4 on the Orianna. Now, typically, as we've said, we don't really like BLG playing around Orianna. Same way in the Azir, where actually Knight isn't bad at the champions. I really like his Orianna on the individual level. It's just not necessarily about him calling the shots. Oh, I think that's anti-synergy. You know, Maker's had a great Bard game, but that is just not it. And then, as Galio ults forwards, Gala gets ulted into the backline. Bad peel by IG. They don't peel around their Yunara. Want to go on the carries instead, but they leave their AD carry out to dry. 10-stack Dark Seal. 2 items for Knight. Yeah, you go get that Magi's. You deserve it. King. Pop off. See, he didn't get Magi's last game, so that's why he lost, you know? I hate how bad IG is about peeling around Gala sometimes. That fight was pretty egregious. Now, he does have the AoE damage built now with the Kraken Slayer into the Hurricane. But in that fight, their eyes are so narrow-sighted onto what's going to happen at the The engage. Hang on a second. Atacon is up, and BLG unknown to inter-round this. The Shy's on the flank. Please do not throw out Atacon again, BLG. Not this time. Please, no. Atacon now started by IG, or rather kept going from then. BLG had taken a decent amount of the HP off of it. It's now under half HP. Now, IG, you also... Yeah, just let it go. Just let it go. Please don't get tanked. Yeah, Garlic making the right choice there, walking into the Atacon so he doesn't tank up too much damage from it. Shadow and Bin spotted on the flank. Hang on, that saying means that they can actually take a fight on the other side. What's happening with the Ambessa? Going towards mid lane, wants to push that out. Shadow, is he starting Romp? No. Spotted on boards there again. He's not in range right now. Heal used to buy some time. Redemption used on both sides now. Both supports are going for it. Bard and Scion warding off the flank. This is a slow objective play, but what that does mean is that Bin can push in mid lane and take the inner turret. See that on the minimap, right? Let's open this thing up again. Yep, there you go. Pushing up the mid lane. Scion will walk down there now. Both of them have teleports available. That'll help. Jumping forwards again. Warrior Trickster. Inner turret not falling. But it has been threatened. The Shy looking for a little bit of wave play. The Shy dying so many times on the sideline is actually a problem. You can see now that Bin does do significant damage to this champion. He's got a level 2 of his ult, so he has, what, 20% armor pen free from that. And then also he has the Black Cleaver, which helps with that. Knight does get himself the Magi's. Yay! A treat for you, sir, in the mid lane. Some light reading. The Death Note variety of light. See, that's funny. It's the person with the Death Note and Death Note. It's called light. This is light reading. I'm funny. Laugh. How funny you say in chat. How funny. Vi also shreds armor. Yes, very true. Vi ends up getting the Q auto E. That's some armor down. Got Black Cleaver shredded onto them too. The Shy is not going to be that tanky. Means that a full stack Varus arrow will hurt like hell. The Shy is not here to pull the force shot. I was worried actually that Mako would get caught out there. A good Zenith Blade could have been very, very scary. Cleanse coming through from Mako. Extra tenacity means that the Varus ult doesn't get that much done either actually. Lens, good value there from Mako, but they are losing the slow bleed of tower damage across the map. They lost some in the mid lane inner, lost that bot lane outer. BLG playing the slow objective fight pretty well, actually. Finn CC'd up again. Redemption, broken ass item right now. There's a ton of healing down there. IG not finding their own openings. Typically, I think that IG are pretty good at playing the slow game. Right here, because Bin is very far ahead, because Knight is very far ahead, they can always send someone who's fed to a point of power. You can see that Knight 10 stack on the Magi is a little faster to walk around too. IG will find it a little harder to shut him down. That was a killer joke. Wonderful. Bin jumps onto again, so I'll shred onto him. Jumps back with the remediation. Half health now onto the Atakan. IG, they can use the Bard ult to delay the objective if they see it going down. Mako might choose to do that now. In fact, I would cast it now, potentially. Just make it a little bit of a flip. It's going to be a flip anyway. Well, he doesn't get the smite. Shadow has flash, but is not going to be able to use it. One kill goes down. Atakan, of course, already dead too. There is the chance of a Galliot coming into the play. On doesn't have flash. Should be 2 for the Atakan. Mako not able to stop the bad Atakan going down. The last kill will go to Gala. That second of the fight, which we were just talking about. Going towards the Dragon 2. BLG, I actually think Dragon and 2 kills is not fantastic for them. They get the Atakan, but lose that objective. Elk, well, maybe they don't. Elk, where's that arrow? You heard about one about Elk on the Varus before? Doesn't get it. Doesn't get it. No Cadian 1v4 and Heroic to win Pro League. Inner turret survives, and IG, you know what? They come out okay from that. And now we reach a point again where we start asking questions about, okay, BLG, you've got late game worries. This one is better than it could have been. What happened with the bottle? Where did it go? I'm not onto that. I think they should have used it to try and stop the Atakan. Freak things out a little bit. Oh, it went there. Yeah, I missed that. On goes down. Who does he give the kill up to again? Ah, it's Gala. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, Yunara getting kills is a bit scary. A little bit ahead of gold compared to Elk. Going towards a higher crit build with the Infinity Edge third. See you, Pelipip. Thanks for stopping by. Poor play from IG again around Atakan. I would say BLG are worse at Atakan than IG, but this is the thing, bro. We'll take an extended point about this. Baron has spawned. We might see a setter around that. The LPL as a region has not been fantastic at adapting to new objectives added into the game. It took them a number of years to figure out how to play around the Herald, and then when they did, they started getting world championships again, starting real world contenders. I think around MSI 23, you look just before that at you know, Worlds 21, stuff like that. No, they did quite well around figuring out Heralds eventually. When it went into the double Herald meta, it took them a little while to figure it out, and they managed to do so. Then Grubs came in, and then struggled a little bit around that, actually. A little bit, on the whole. You look now at this season, the Atakan coming through. Atakan is even worse because, you know, let's point it out on the minimap, right? I'm gonna draw this out for you, so watch on the minimap now. I'll show you what. Like, when you fight in around like the big objectives, typically you'll have this wall at your back, or you'll have this wall at your back. You'll have these pits to fight in. Atakan does not have that. You have entries from here, from here, from here, and from here. This is not a pit. It's very, very dangerous to play around. It means that your instincts that you've learned from fighting around Dragon or Baron from years past don't apply to Atakan. You have to set up for it differently. You ward differently for it. You push out bot lane, or whatever side it's in there. Hey, Spirit's good. Thanks to the stream streak. These things are hard to learn, and it takes a long time to figure out, well, this is where we want our wards. We need to be this early to it to fight around it. Inner turret will fall from BLG, for BLG in favor for them, I guess. I don't know, words are hard. They'll take the inner turret. Mako, gonna tunnel through the wall, maybe. Where's the C? That is a lot of CC. Mako being handed the on treatment from last game. Full CC chain, could not make it safely out there. Would have had to flash tunnel, I think. Wasn't on points with those reactions. And now recall on vision. Ooh, that could be a problem. If they can catch one person out, that could be a problem. Vi could be over the wall. I wonder whether IG should have let one recall come back in. One recall happen, and then attack the second person. Knight, using that ball to zone rookie off the tower. BLG playing a slower game. It's working for them this time. Simple siege. Varus, 12 stack Oriana. Going towards pen item on 4. BLG playing things out a lot more calmly this time. They seem to understand how to... Well, okay, I say that. There's still plenty of time to throw. But they seem to understand their win conditions a little easier on this one. Okay, 3-item Nymaera has both summoners. Is that enough for IG to take a winning team fight? Well, you know, they have to be afraid of the Vi Orianna. I think the problem that IG are going to run into is Galliol might be able to save you from a shockwave, but will it save you from a 4-item, 3,000 gold lead Orianna shockwave? I don't think so. And even if that was the case, if Orianna was even or behind even, could the Gala Nymaera survive through not just the Vi, but Vi into Ambessa? Because Galliol doesn't give you physical damage shield, it's a magic damage shield. That doesn't apply to Vi and Ambessa's damage. I don't think it does. I think that IG are going to really struggle to keep their damage piece alive. I don't think they have enough peel for this, and this is my issue stylistically with Nymaera. Look at the arrow there. You know, one arrow just took like a quarter of the HP. This is why we don't let Orianna free farm Sion in side lanes, folks. That is very, very true. Especially because Ambessa is happy laning up into the Galio too. Very happy. Happy doing either, really. But Orianna has 2 great side laning matchups and has been bullying about. Remember, caught our Rookie with the self-shockwave, catching Rookie out on the flash timer. Level 16. Yeah, can't help him with some XP. Just pray for another 1,000 shutdown from Knight. True. Yeah, that last game was well, I'm not going to say it's on Knight, because he had the shutdown to give over, but giving it over was bad. Not a red ult, definitely not. Oopsies. Tunnel through the wall. Ooh, Taunt onto On. I don't think they should play it around this choke point, though, with the Orianna just around. Shadow, gonna get jumped up by Gala. Not bad damage, though, from Varus. Jesus, that's a lot there. Shadow. Shadow caught out. That's a problem. The jungler of BLG, another late game fumble. The Shy will go down, and it's a 1-for-1 with no smites on the board. IG, I think they'll take that, honestly. No Viol now to threaten out Gala, who heals up a little bit from the Krugs. A lot of it from the Krugs, actually. Decent from that. 1-for-1. Way, walking in. Knight is kind of strong, by the way. Shockwaves him back. There's a flash on him. Oh my word, there's a lot of damage. The Redemption threatening the kill means it zones him right back into Knight. Knight, the assassin Orianna in the shadows. 20 stacks on the Medjais. That is a pretty penny. 120 AP item now for just 1,600 gold. Nice value. Baron will get started. So even though Shadow dies, Knight plays the assassin Orianna. Shadows of Faker Season 3. Of Rookie. Season 4 even. Those early seasons of Orianna. We just randomly one-shot people from brush baiting. Baron goes down easy as you like. 5-man Baron for BLG. And a slight rumple in the game plan fixed out. Dragon, not alive just yet. Fighting over vision control, if anything. Vi does have GA. And we haven't seen it yet, but there is that Vi Orianna combo. Knight has flash, does not have a Seekers. Look how he's just one-man controlling so many areas, though. There we go. The ult's coming through. Bard ult's not bad, actually. It's okay. Keeps Gala alive a little longer. Gala might be able to DPS now. Okay, Ambessa going wild in the one side of it, though. Gala backing off. I don't think he's going to have enough to save himself from Ambessa. Okay, maybe he will just about. It doesn't matter, though. Gala not doing damage means that IG cannot stand and fight. 2 kills very easily. IG tried to disengage with Galio and with the Bard. I don't think they really communicated which one should go first. Guess it didn't matter too much at the end of it. Way caught out now as well. Has flash. I don't think it's going to matter at all, though. I don't think he wants to use the summoner. May as well just go down peacefully. Good night, sweet monkey. 3 and 4 his way. Great first game. This one looking okay from parts of it, but our BLG much more on the same page in game 2 compared to game 1. Gala. He's having some real issues dealing with the Ambessa. This is why we said, look, this champion struggles against heavy dive. You don't have enough lifesteal to see yourself through an Ambessa. Most AD carries don't. You don't have a Zyre ultimate. You don't have a Kai'Sa ultimate to get you away from those threats. There's another Vi ultimate, by the way. It's off cooldown. And they do have the Vi Orianna combo. Shadow just pinging that Q on cooldown. Screaming at us all the while. Parasol into the Shy. Okay damage, not fantastic, I suppose. Parasol. Poke more than anything else there. Ult onto Elk. Has Flash. Teleport in from the side. Here comes Galio. Is he spotted? No, he's not. Flash potentially available. Gets on to Elk, but Shadow has found himself a target on the other side. So Wild Knight might be able, well, Wild Rookie might be able to get himself onto Elk. I don't think it's going to be an even trade as easily as you like. And the shockwave from Knight, who goes to the other side of the fight, not using the teleport to save his AD carry, makes the world a difference. The dive onto the AD carries is not equal. Elk lives. Gala dies, no outplay there, as IG blasted in game 2. BLG so much more clean this game than the last. They've had a couple of throws in the late game. This one, bereft of them, luckily, thankfully for them, and we'll be going to a game 3. We see the problems of the Nymaera up front and center. If you don't have the peeling tools, if you don't have the ability to save yourself from the heavy dive, Nymaera gets popped. You don't bring them yourself. You don't have that Zyre ultimate, the Kai'Sa ultimate. Gala, despite having a pentakill on the champion, cannot rectify the mistakes of his team in this one. IG get brought to a third game. Shut down comprehensively. Well, they're on their tour of top teams. They played against AL, top esports. Now against BLG. See how it all works out. At the level 1, Mako can crash down away. Hook missing. Important. Let's see those gyros now that the level 1's diffused. Wards traded. Better warding into the enemy jungle by IG. Now, this is a thing that you do for Renekton, because what Renekton what Gnar wants to do is kind of sit in one of these brushes early and use that to dip out of Fog of War. Dip into Fog of War, rather, to drop minion aggro. Use their range advantage and make sure that Renekton can't really push them out of lane. So you walk up with your Renekton level 1, and you make sure that they can get control of the brush. Otherwise, playing range against a melee, instant lost lane. Pretty much. Pretty much. Are you still there, by the way, Pintulus in chat? You still there? Yeah. You don't have to put the ward for... you don't need to put the ward into the brush. You just need to make sure the Renekton can get into that brush first. Because you don't want to face check the brush as the Renekton into the Gnar, because if he gets the boomerang, he slows you down. You can't gap close the level 1 very well. There are some lanes you can E-start him as Renekton, but you can't really do it against Gnar, because he slows you and then you get a little bit screwed. Shadow is spotted heading over here. So he took blue buff into enemy Raptors. Wei took red buff and Raptors, walking in behind mid lane now. Not much he can do here. Buckler thrown. Raptors taken, so it's camp for camp. No, it's not camp for camp. Shadow is a camp down because he didn't manage to take an enemy buff. So Shadow's going to need a little bit of help from his lanes to help him get into the enemy jungle or get double scuttle. Hey, Pinchless, do you redeem that compliment? Let me think. Let me think. You know, I would walk into your top lane to make sure you had brush control, even if you were playing the ranged top laner. Even if you had the winning lane already. What I wouldn't give to see you happy, flourishing in your lane, moisturized. What's the other things on that list? I would walk into your lane to give you that war, Pinchless. Oh, ye mighty scion of chat. I say scion as in like the word scion, not the champion scion. But that too, if you want to do scion. I ain't judging, you know? I ain't judging. Scion's a fun champion to watch. Been getting okay lane control up here. Renekton better wave clear at the early levels. Rookie could get engaged onto here. Q lands. No melee synergy. Gets the stun. Yeah, because if that stun went into a Q directly under his feet, then that would have been the increased damage from the Twin Fangs of Knight. Flash in from Wei, perhaps? No, it doesn't connect to the wall. We'll get some damage from the E, Q, and the Buckler. Doesn't get the Q pop, or of course the second part of the E damage. You do play a decent amount of Aurora top recently, and I'm sure you're the best in the world at it. Shadow takes that top scuttle. Again, needs a little bit of... hang on. I was about to say needs a little bit of help getting ahead of farm. But Wei's gone for the 3 camp and then just, you know, BS kind of advance, right? Ooh, good trade there from Rookie onto Knight. Gets the phase rush to walk away from him despite the miasma being under his feet. The couple of chunks which Wei have got onto Knight have impacted his lane. He'll have to teleport back a little early now. I suppose Rookie's going back at the same time. Doesn't matter that much. Did he stop the recall? No. He might be able to fight over Raptors. Knight can teleport in right now, though. Wait, hang on. Shadow just queued into the wall. That's a problem. Shadow losing a small Raptor. It's actually not that bad, you know. This is a term which we like to call full build Poppy, by the way. When Poppy hits level 3 and has a red buff, they are full build. They need nothing else in life. They have reached late game status. That's it. Wei's done that. 16 CS. Make a spotted on vision here. How much should they bait this in? Don't need to, really. So despite the couple of ganks in towards Knight's lane, hasn't led to that much. Passive not really doing that much onto Maker right now. Only hit the first part of the W, not the second. On roaming about the map now too. Both bot lanes have left their lane. Nothing interesting happened in that 2v2 bot side. There's a cull picked up for Gala, not for Elk, worth noting. That being said, Elk playing for the early power, Gala playing for the scaling. I suppose that shows them their inventories. Well, I say that. Tier is a little technically scaling too, but you know what I mean. Nobody got time for One Piece in its dragged out episodes. Hey, One Piece is good. I watched a lot of that on TV growing up. Now, I haven't kept up with it, but I have fond memories of One Piece. Also, there is something nice about, like, you can say dragged out, and yes, there are some which are, partly because they needed to do, like, filler episodes before the manga artists, like, kept up with the story and stuff. But sometimes this is nice to spend time in a world like that, you know? Like, I love it Gintama. Gintama is just all nonsense until, like, something random, like the Benizakura arc turns up, and then you're like, oh, it actually has a story. Incredible. Gintama is my favorite anime, actually. I'll put on the Gatling gun. Start stacking up the Conqueror. Wei is behind IG's bot lane. Still a little strange seeing Wei on the other side of the Rift BLG. I suppose he was only there for a year, but still, recently. Ooh, a game 3. What good timing to get here. Well, welcome in, Kyrevan. And welcome into everyone else who's joined for this game 3 as well. IG have been doing a bit of a tour of the top teams recently. They played against Anyone's Legend, Top Esports, and now BLG. And they've had a mixed bag of it. Some of it fantastic. They, and you know, in week 4, they 2-0'd AL, and they 2-0'd like teams like JDG. Now, you look back to these kind of games, right? Last week, they got 2-0'd by AL, and they did manage to clutch out a win versus Top Esports 3-1. Now here against BLG in another 3-game series. I think IG have solidified themselves as a top 4 LPL team. We just don't know which one of the 4 they are. Now, you could say the same about BLG, because BLG got blasted by AL. Perhaps AL are now in the top spot. They're looking very good recently. Tarzan looks like he's back on form. Their drafts are getting better again. Wei walking in for a buff steal. Behind in farm a little bit. Shadow has had good access to things. Worth noting. Oh, Jesus. It's happened again. We have a teleport. Chicken jockey. Oh, I said it like that. Well, no, I know I did. I know why. Don't know why I chose to do it. Actually, 4 teleports from BLG at their maximum. On the other side, 3 for IG. Guys, we could have a point where we have 7 teleports at the same time. I thought Season 5 and 6 were bad, where everyone was taking teleport. And we'd have, like, quadruple teleports towards bot lane early in, like, Season 6, 7. I thought that was bad enough. Now we've got an extra teleport from spellbooks from, like, junglers and supports. Who thought that was healthy and safe? Dragon started up. Now, Sejuani, not that fast at taking dragons on her own. Very strong we have a melee. They don't have that here. On would have had to walk over to do that. That's an important thing, by the way. If you're playing particularly something like the Yone, make sure you try and do that. Bin, does he have an extra charge of Z? Nope. I still need to finish Gintama. I got to like episode 100 or something. Ah, so you got through the Benizakura arc, which is one of the best parts, and that's one of the things which I think tell people to reach that bit's really good. It's really good. Jump towards bot side. You can't cleanse a Nautilus ult. Where is the rest of the CC? Tries to ult out, but Gala Kaiser, famous though it might be, cannot survive that. Does get the one back, though. Blows the ult and the summoner for it. How do we not mention that? Gala Kaiser, of course, the Prince of Pentas on his arguably most famous champion. Getting a kill early. The other kill going up to Shadow on a Sejuani, who will be able to get out without his Q being cancelled. We'll walk in and spot way there now. Teleport in from On. He's died, and now he's teleporting out onto the map. God damn, we have too many teleports in this goddamn video game. Was that a kill or an execute? It was a kill. It was a kill. Ooh, flash away from Rookie. On now down that summoner. That's a problem, because now if Knight gets the miasma onto him and things go... Well, you could even flash for a miasma at some points. Knight will have great ability. Shut down that rise. Cassiopeia has always been good into that champion. Going towards the Rod of Ages build, worth noting. No tier on him. Wonder what he's going to go for his build, actually. You know, sometimes you're losing some cooldown reduction by going for this. No mana from, like, Charles to Capture as well. Oof, goddamn, this is the Corky early power. Full shred from the Gatling gun comes in. Might got a good chunk onto Rookie again there. I do think, on the whole, Knight has been outplaying Rookie, at least in the early parts of the game. The Galio game started well for Rookie and then fell off around side lanes. Aurora was massively carrying the first game until BLG realized that they have a bit of object permanence when it comes to winning the game in late game. Stick their heads in the sand and go, ooh, everything's fine. No, it's not. Who's winning right now? Well, BLG have 10 CS lead in top lane. Decent one in bot lane and mid lane, but there are 2 culls on the other side, so I wouldn't say it's enough of a lead from any one side to say who's winning right now. If IG manage to survive through to their culls being finished, if they manage to survive to 2-3 items, I think they are very happy. Probably 3 items is really where they start to take over. But if BLG manage to get huge amounts of dragons, crazy side lane leads for Bin or something like that, then I think BLG cleanly close things out. No, is that true? No, they're really bad at closing this out, so maybe that's not true. I shouldn't say that. BLG always has the throw factor. You're absolutely right, and we're absolutely right. BLG are bad, typically, at playing around Aftercon, and kind of barren too. BLG has stood for bad late game recently, sadly for them. Got it. Even combo down by Rookie. Rise early damage is okay nowadays. It's right. Brian used that. Doesn't actually have any AP built up and actually did a decent amount to a tank HP bar. It's okay, I suppose. Heartsteel first. Gets that first Heartsteel stack. Hell yeah. Value for the Sejuani. 16 extra HP. Woo! Nice. There's been a lot of play around mid lane this series. BLG have not, for the last while, been a mid-centric team. What they end up doing is sending all resources bot lane, or they did before, send all resources bot lane to allow Elkanon to play from ahead, because they were quite bad at playing from behind before that point. Because all resources were bot side, it actually meant it was just a pure 1v1 top side. No one was going top side, really, so Bin would benefit from that. But what that did mean was that Knight kind of had to play on his own as well, right? Because it's close, mid is close enough to bot lane that if resources are put down bot side, enemy team can still go mid lane if they really need to. And that's often what would happen, so Knight would often be playing in 1v2s and 1v3s. However, in this split, they've actually been playing much more towards Knight, especially when he's been on stuff like the... when he's been... hang on a second, Bin just missed that cannon. Oof. When he's been on stuff like the Aurora, for instance, more likely to see people enter his lane. Bin, about 10 CS up, as we said, but Cull nearly cashed in for Nymaera and Kaiser. BLG have not been able to fight while those Culls have been stacked up. Shy, not able to land that boomerang, actually. The jump onto his head happens, though. Reminder that when Gnar jumps, he gets, I think it's 40% attack speed now. It is an absurd amount. Mega Gnar comes through, dodges out on the wallet. Not quite out on the house toss, though. Not able to stop that through. There is a Dominus available to him. God damn, Shy hitting more stuff now, though. Very, very bursty champion is Mega Gnar. You figure out how much damage Gnar does until you actually play against Mega Gnar in lane, and you go, ah, yeah, that's nasty. Just have the Phage, though, of course. Base damages do the rest. Mega Gnar has the highest base stats in the game. Mini Gnar just behind Yuumi, I think, actually. Renekton going in with the flash and the Dominus. The Shy has the flash. and we'll get out to safety with it. However, Bin gets to stick around in top lane, push out the wave. So it's flash for flash, but Bin wins the HP trade. Might be able to get a demolish on tower. That might buy him a plate. That would be the important win here. Dragon started on the bot side. There is an IG member in Fog of War. Maker flashing gets cancelled out by Shadow. Jump forwards onto Knight, who's trying to get damage down. He manages to get it. Manages to cut off Rookie at the pass too. Keeps doing damage, and I think IG might just meet their makers. 2 dead. Feats of strength, at least the kill part of it, goes over towards BLG. As a great disengage of Mako. Mako thought he had an unseen flank. Could get onto the carries. Couldn't quite do so. Shadow and Knight outplay. Shadow stops Mako getting into the play. Knight stops Rookie getting into the play. Both of them splitting up and looking for clues, and they find the culprit. Just a mild-mannered janitor all along. Scooby-Doo had taught as well. No, Wave was walking forwards. Mako just unfortunate to be spotted that. Just blasted by the Sejuani Q. Knight flashes onto Rookie. Wei tries to get the wall stun, can't quite manage to do so, and Rookie's ult does not see his jungler to safety. Shadow genuinely saving that fight. Much better game 3 from him. I think he's been playing poorly recently. That was much better. His early game pathing's been good. Got a 2-0-1, decent Heartsteel stacking. Good to see this from him. Now, I don't want BLG to follow the same storyline of change jungler, honeymoon phase, things fall off, and the jungler gets just, you know, career seems to capsize at that point. I don't want that to happen. Wei was, of course, part of that too earlier this year. Beitron replaced him, and Beitron looked good, then fell off at MSI, and the start of this split. Shadow came in. Looks like it's going to do the same. There are obviously memes that IG's jungler, which they just let go. Jeje. There are memes that, oh my god, but what if BLG get him instead? BLG wants to know your location. Always a little bit of meme behind that, but it's so ridiculous that BLG have been through so many junglers in the last while. But you can't help but wonder. Can't help but wonder. Shy has no flash. Bin pops the Dominus. I think the hop's already been used. Shadow walking upwards. The Renekton Sejuani coming up tops here. The Redemption, I don't think it's going to save him. Magnar's coming up, and it won't do a good amount of work there. What it will do is buy time for the Herald to come through for IG. Stun onto the Nautilus. The W times out. Wait, I don't think he's making it out of this one. On flashes backwards, just in case there was something funky to happen towards him. I think that flash is a bit egregious there. BLG don't get the Herald, but they do get 2 kills. This amount of gold going over to BLG is very worrying for IG. This is an early game comp from BLG, which can snowball very nastily. Walking forwards, no grubs to the side of BLG. They gave up all of them earlier to IG. But Bin's still going to get first tower and top side. They're still pushing in towards mid lane. Rookie is trading on bot side, but a full turret in mid lane, the most important turret of the game. BLG come away handsomely paid from this, as Gala even blows the flash. Gala Kaiser, so often praised for him. Getting punished here in this early game. His Cull's cashed in. It helps him in terms of that gold value. Rookie having to Realm Warp out. Second ult of the game. Second defensive one. There's this jungler on JDG whose name is currently escaping me that I think could be a really good fit for BLG. His name is Shur or Shum or something like that. Crazy. Someone call it the BLG management. The thing is, there was a conversation I was having. Well, there was a tweet chain very briefly I had with Cubby on Twitter where Cubby was talking about how, you know, JJ and Tien might actually be pretty good for BLG in terms of style. My point would be, I don't think BLG have time to integrate junglers. Doing it at this point in the year means you have to relearn early game, vision control, objective setup, macro in general, and that has been where they're struggling. The only person who could genuinely help BLG now, if you think that jungle is a problem, is Shun, because Shun has spent so much time with the team. I think it would be less time to reintegrate him back. It won't happen. It won't, because of all of the issues which happen in off-season. Stun towards that top side. There is a Dominus available for Bin. I don't know if he's living through this. Tower might just die. Tries to kill away the Heralds. The Redemption could have come in for extra damage as well. Kill, Tower, clean kill for IG. What's happening on the other side? In a turret push by BLG. A reminder, they do not have 3 grubs. Herald on top side to demolish. There's going to be 2 turrets for IG on top side, whereas BLG will trade for 1 in bot lane. I guess they're farming up an extra wave at the same time. I say that. They're going to lose top lane wave to turrets. That's not necessarily true. Knight's getting a ton of gold, though. from just turrets. He was there at one of the tower pushes and then goes down towards that bot side and gets that one too. 1,000 gold lead in the jungle. Has Rylai's Rod of Ages as a 2-item combo. Yes, that hurts. That hurts a lot. BLG inspired 2026. Oh, would love to see it. Would you? I don't know. If you're FlyQuest, you probably wouldn't love to see that, would you? 1,000 gold lead. Only the lead now for BLG. Both culls cashed in for IG. Good tower push and topside. Good cross map. Dragon up in 20 seconds. BLG still very, very strong. If that hook landed, that could have been a fight for them. If you kill and engage support before the fight is so tilted in your favor. Oh, Gala. Gala, Gala, Gala. Why were you there? Mako just escaped in that same spot. Gala, who looked so good in game 1, who has been so excellent in some of their series, including against top esports, from what I remember, makes a crucial, crucial misplay. Dragon will go to BLG. That's sole point for them early on. IG weren't set up for a cross map. They wanted to contest. They will no longer be able to do so. Oh, Gala. So what happens here? It's walking up, walking back. Corki's Catling gun is really nasty. And then... I don't get it. You are not safe there. You know that they're around in force. Big mistake from Gala. That could genuinely be series ending. Atakan now started up by IG. BLG, do they have a teleport they want to use? They have double. This is going down very, very quickly, though. IG will get themselves a free Atakan. There's a push in mid lane. BLG choosing not to fight this. IG will get a lot of XP from this. Where's the cross map? You're going to take blue buff here. There's no inner turret on the other side to take on bot lane. You can potentially take it in mid lane. Mako put onto the miasma. Yeah, that's a dead rel at least. You shouldn't flash from this one. Dead rel. Pushing towards the mid lane. So it's a turret kill. Jungle camp secured for BLG. Atakan on the other side for IG. Now, Atakan is a valuable objective. Gives you so much experience. You can see that... Actually, is there no one with an XP lead? Okay, alright, you know what? Credit to them. No one actually has an XP lead for IG. BLG had been farming up waves a lot better. IG... Now 3,000? Yeah, around about 3,000 gold in the disadvantage to BLG. Those extra tower pushes helping them. The vision control they're putting down also very helpful too. If you look around... here. Lots of vision around this point here. That's the kind of thing which can be very powerful. BLG pick a fight in that side of the jungle again. Bit nosies on weak side. Quite hard to kill with the Shojin Stride Breaker. Stride Breaker really helps versus the ranged carries. Regrowths from IG. You would have expected them to have the tower lead, but they've not been able to do so. BLG have grouped up and pushed towers a lot more effectively. 2 items onto both AD carries. At this point, Corki is a little stronger than the Kai'Sa, but the Kai'Sa will start to outpace him after this point. Gala Kai'Sa, despite the mistake earlier, may well be able to make the difference later, as it so often has. Knight on 2.5 items. Yep, pretty scary. Pretty scary indeed. One of the big itemization breakpoints we got. No Rod of Ages for Rookie just yet. No Seraphs on the Cassiopeia at all, by the way. Not going towards the double scaling items, which... see how that works out. It means he's lacking in cooldown reduction. But then again, you need it less for twin bites and stuff. Another jungle camp steal away. Red buff taken. Where he takes Krugs on the other side. See that, in terms of actual farm between the Poppy and the Sejuani, fairly similar. Not even the kill gold separating the two of them. Unending Despair finished by Shadow now as well. So he's got a good multi-resist combo. Good staying power in fights between Heartsteel giving him HP scaling damage. Unending Despair also technically doing that as well, but also giving the crazy, crazy healing. Crazy taxi. Hey, Darkwell, good to see you. Gala working his way towards a Nash's Tooth, going towards a bit more magic damage as his third item. You don't always see that from the Kai'Sa now. In fact, actually, Gala was one of the people that love going Terminus third. Kraken Slayer, Rageblade, Terminus. Then going to Jack Show after that point, be the AD on hit, crazy damage. No real crit in that build. Rookie spotted on wards. Remember BLG, we said they And I had that vision control earlier. This is kind of the end of it now. Their controls will get cleared. BLG, they can test for the vision control. Way spotted in River. Bin charging up the Dominus. Who does he go towards? Ult missing from the Sejuani. Auto attack reset onto Wei, but he's out of range of the Sejuani so far. And now Sejuani is getting blasted. Doesn't get the flash. Goes out very, very easily. Knight now caught onto the wall as well. 1-for-1. Knight not actually going to get punched away because I don't think Wei really wants to do much about that. In fact, he'd rather keep him there to do good damage to him. Bad play by Shadow. Misses his ult and doesn't have flash. Gets CC'd in there. But luckily, BLG, their vision control kind of does the work for them. This is the play in the topside jungle again. Ult missed. Knight very tanky for this point of the game. Has the Rylize now too. Third item, of course, doesn't have to waste gold on something like boots because he's a snake. Doesn't need boots. They need like one long sock, I guess. Dragon started up. BLG could get themselves soul off this. Bin has no ultimate. That's kind of important. Does have the flash though. The Shy charging up Mega. BLG can give up one dragon and they choose to, but IG get away with that one a little bit freely, not gonna lie. IG getting that for free. BLG, what's their answer? Well, Baron's alive. Bin not having ult for that fight, I think, was a big decision maker for them. They'll walk over towards the Baron. Sejuani can tank this pretty well. The Redemption will deal damage to BLG because that came from Mako. Hook on to the Poppy. Not that tanky, and the Miasma stops them getting away quickly. However, Gala starts to free fire on the other side. Flash wall from the Corki. Smite is now down. If the IG do not get a good fight here, the Baron will go down after because they have no ability to cast those objectives on. Flashing forward for the staggering blows, and IG stagger backwards, drunk in the bar fight. Shy tries to drink him under the table and rocks him with the Mega Gnar, but I don't think the damage is there to follow up. There's a realm up to try and stop him, and it's so close. But Rookie will get his top laner out to safety. 2 dead, no smite for the side of IG, and I believe BLG might have won themselves the Baron. The HP bars are a little touch and go, but with a teleport ready from Ben, he can come back in full complement of HP points. Hit point points, yep, that's what we're saying here now. And the Baron will go down to BLG. Wei caught out in that face check. Gala does have ults. Shadow is really low. Shadow is really low. I'm quite worried there actually for them. Smite is put onto the table. Gala could try to flash onto one side of the fight. Bin, not in a great spot. Gala should kill one, and probably will do. Stun goes onto him, but Bin, I think he's dead. Ryze dies on the other side despite some good combos. 1-for-1, Baron on 4. IG might be able to punish some resets from BLG. They're all very low HP. They need to go and recall. The Shy pushes in towards that top lane. Can they take mid lane out to turret? No, I don't think they can, sadly. BLG take a face check from Wei and turn it into what could be a game-ending play. Smite goes down so quickly. Knight at these early 3 items. Level 16, so goddamn strong. Rookie having to flash away from the Rylize Landry's burn as well. See that Gala just not able to get onto one target to gun them down. See right here as well, he's so afraid of Renekton Flash W. Can't walk up. Gala having to pay so much respect to Bin on the Renekton. Rookie seeing his teammates out to safety by walking away from his ultimate, putting it down for their own escape route. Come with me if you want to live. My name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Famous from hit movies The Terminator and other such action movies. Do you think that would work? Do you think Ryze would be good as Arnie? I don't know. I think they should do a biopic of Ryze and then have Arnie do it. Ooh, ult on the turret. Plays at the angle. Wei doesn't have flash, and Wei is blitzed again. The old jungler of BLG now playing across from them. Gets sent their regards. 0-4. This Poppy just not had the impact IG wanted them to have in the early team fights. The early skirmishes, I suppose. Green Prison goes on to Knight. Not doing that much. Bounce does okay. Has a Seekers now, by the way. Makes it even harder to kill this guy. The Shy doesn't have flash, does have Mega Gnar. Threatening a wall stun. Been Renekton coming over. Hook barely missing onto the Shy. BLG do not break the base, but they do take an inner turret. Only a minute left of the Baron. They haven't not breaking the base with that Baron could be okay for IG, actually. How much can they scale up? I mean, is scaling now a factor? They don't have a Scion or an Ornn hyper tank. On the other side, you have, you know, Renekton Sejuani, which against zero tanks does better in the late game. I mean, against stuff like the Ornn Scion matters a lot less later on. Even stuff like Skarner, right? You know, stuff that tanks up more. If you're mini Gnar, you don't get to be that tank. Shadow, you get damaged an amount by Rise. 2,200 gold behind, though. Orochimaru in the mid lane. Knight, famous for this before he became a fully fledged pro player and one of the best players in the world. Returning back to Old Faithful, I suppose. Take a moment to stop and appreciate Elk's performance in the Corki as well. I think that his late games have been rough, and I think that the Xayah was not fantastic either, but this Corki has been awesome. Flash away from Wei. Nautilus Ult follows him. Summon it down again. 20 seconds till the Dragon. BLG could get themselves the Ocean Soul the second time of trying. The first time IG lost members, lost the Baron, but they did at least stop the Soul. Bin, no flash. Does have Dominus. Hang on a second. Let's not go too far forward there. Doesn't have the best magic resist items. Loses half his HP. Doesn't have teleport. Well, I guess he could do. Sejuani Ult not doing that much value either. BLG, not the best intro this time, actually. Corki putting on the Gatling gun. Mako, no flash to force and engage. The Shy just running out of Mega Gnar. BLG no longer afraid of that one either. Lots of playmaking tools down for IG. IG muscle their way into the Dragon. That's a problem, actually, for BLG. Dragon's going to go down. They're muscled out of it. They're teleporting in. They're looking for the fight. They're not looking for the Dragon. They're looking for the fight. Claimed by IG. Not that many flashes to fight this with, though. How much damage can IG do? Mako trying to get away. Poppy missing. Trying to file back into the 5v5. The Miasma is okay, but Gala is starting to free fire. The Renekton is not tanky. BLG bad late game once more. Surely not. Surely not. Gala flies in. Gala, Kai'Sa trying to deliver IG to the promised land. And they get 3. They get 4. They've done it again. And ults from Knight will not be enough. Triple kill to Gala, perhaps the 4th. And Knight will not be able to survive. BLG in the late game just cannot get it done. Invictus Gaming from the brink will stop yet another Ocean Soul. How has this team lost again in the late game? The script writes itself. BLG lose 2 Soul Dragons back to back. Gala's Kai'Sa flies like a bat out of hell into the back line. BLG, bad late game. IG take the series 2-1.